The Wrestling Mayhem Show. Since 2006, the pioneer in pro wrestling podcasting.
This show is brought to you by IndieWrestling.us and IndieWrestling.network for your independent wrestling entertainment. Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza.
Just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Do what you have to do, make it last. Wait for the perfect time.
It's the Wrestling Mayhem Show, 964 Tuesdays. We've been talking professionalized wrestling. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Messing with my mic. There you go. With me from the Riz Cave, the Riz.
Hi. It didn't make any noise when you did that, too.
Oh, don't worry. They did it on the recording. Actually, maybe it'll fix it later. So I felt myself moving the mic, so I was like, well, let's just make a thing of it.
It's going to make it awkward now.
Yeah, let's just make it all awkward. You know, it just happens all the time. I listen to other podcasts like, I'm sorry, there's a dog barking outside. And we're like, yo, none of us hear that, actually.
Yeah, no.
Somebody did their job.
It's fine.
So we're okay.
It happens all the time. It's fine.
This is why I sell the train horn outside, because I'm pretty sure it never comes through to the final product. But either way, that's a little inside baseball on that. We have with us...
Hold on, I got this.
Oh.
It's the BOSS, Boss of Professional Wrestling, Glenn Spectre, with the... where's my partner? Oh, no. We had a mishap. We're going to hopefully get him to zoom in. But yeah, it's the boss, Glenn Spectre, representing the Troublemakers. And I'm back on the Wrestling Mayhem Show. And here's the thing. I feel like at this point, what do you get when you come on this many times? Do I get like a free sundae or something? I mean, like...
Well, you can take a whole pizza with you, because I thought there was going to be two of you. So for one thing, you get a whole pizza when you leave. So
Fantastic.
It's going to be great for the diet. But
So, and that's an FAKT fact.
There you go.
And so, yeah, no, my unfortunately, Kanan is indisposed. Something we had
not in the bathroom.
Yeah, no, we just had a situation, but
yes,
but it's going to be all good. Hopefully, he can zoom in, and if he can't, either way, I do 90% of the talking for us anyway. He knows that.
I when you're saying he's going to zoom in, and unfortunately, it's Superman week, so I think he's going to have a Troublemakers cape and just be
boom.
They're flying in. There you go. You have a show this weekend. You can play on the Superman theme.
I mean, well, I don't have a cape for you.
It's a mini cape. It's a cape for a cat.
Number one, we're going to do a little bit of merchandising here. We just got these. They were available at the APWF show that we were recently at, and we sold a bunch of them. But this is our newest piece of merch, Troublemakers Rally Towel. Let's go. And I wanted to present you, Sorg, with one from us to you with love.
Oh, there you go. I dropped it. Oh no, I dropped it. There you go. All right, excellent. And you say it can be a cape for a cat or a small dog. So maybe we'll do that with Wicket here, the Chihuahua. So there you go. I don't know what to do with this now. Do I? I don't know. If I'm John Cena, I do it this way, right?
You've done situations before where you have a towel over your microphone.
Just like the moist. That was a headband. That was Julia's moist AF headband that I was holding for Katie.
I love that she leaned into that, because that word makes so many people uncomfortable.
I know. Did you see that she's promoting a charity car wash?
Yeah,
or
I was like,
I was with the moist AF.
I was like, they're leaning into something here. It's gonna work. Like.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting people's attention,
right?
Definitely.
I mean, like, look, you're scrolling by. That'll make you stop for a second and be like, what's this about?
What is happening here? Hold on, I'm trying to find the car wash. Because this kept popping up on my feed, so I'm going to give her shouts on this one. Oh, it must be through a different account, because this is just... Well, it's not a bad account either, but it's just, I got a kick out of that. So if I find that, I'll share it here later in the show. But anyways, it was probably this past weekend, to be honest. I don't know what to do with this. It's not over the microphone. Maybe it's something like that. Here, put it on the back of the couch. There you go. So we can see it. They're like the championship belts.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. That's good. In shot. There you go. It's going to all get cropped off on TikTok. Don't worry about it. Anyways, we got a lot going on here. Oh, it was a great time having Glenn here. I think I still have videos from last time you were here for social media I haven't used yet. So,
I get clipped a lot. I have a lot of profound things to say about professional wrestling.
and it was like 4 months ago. So you're like, I said what? Like I'm always waiting for like get a message from you or somebody else, you know, because I just have this like kind of trove of just old clips because like the AI thing like punches like a bunch of them out. And some of them are bullshit, but and then every time like I'll find something that's like, man, you said this like 5 months ago, and it's even more important now or something, right?
Sure.
Like stuff like that.
The most recent thing was the Takagi thing when we were working in Japan and setting up the rings and stuff like that. It's just I was like, I always love sharing that because it's just relevant. People have to calm down about, you know, like I said, the American mentality around ring crew versus the Japanese mentality around ring crew. I just have to say one of them is less horrible. Like, you know, and it's the Japanese one is just way more I don't know what the word I'm searching for the word, but essentially it's, you know, setting up a ring ain't a big deal. It doesn't make make you less. No. You know what I mean? Yeah. There are times at shows where you have to be all hands on deck and sometimes, you know, it just has to be that way. Absolutely. I mean, you know, it's funny you brought that. It's funny to just bring this up real quick because it's an interesting thing just about wrestling. And I don't know how much it is. Like, it depends on the show. Like, you develop your own show's culture. Like, this is, I guess, going out to the promoters out there. And the thing is, if you have a culture where essentially there are people who are, I don't need, you know, I don't set up the ring, whatever, blah, blah. If the culture's there, then guess what? If part of me feeling like I'm a more important person at the company that I'm, you know, is that I don't set up the ring, you're going to have people, including me, being like, well, I don't want to set up the ring here because if I'm going to be seen as lesser, I don't want to do it. Yeah. And that's up, you know, like that's up to the promoter and the crew, like, and all the people that are in the office of whatever company that is. If you get to set the tone. And if you set that tone, just understand that, like, a guy like me, when I walk into that situation, I'm not going to, like, I don't want these other, you know, if the rest of the people I'm working with that are on the upper end of the card are going to look down on me, no, I'm not going to suddenly be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go. That's why I said, like, the Japanese thing, like, and once again, I worked for DDT. I don't know if every Japanese company is like this, but essentially the all hands on deck mentality, it felt good. It felt like, once again, if the guy who owns the company can carry boards, I sure can carry boards.
And I think Beastman, when he was on the show recently talking about this, or maybe two times ago, talked very similar about like the I think the head of the company or booker or whatever was involved with helping the ring and everything with Big Japan. So yeah, like it's still kind of a thing. You know, that's interesting. This is a little early for the inside baseball indie wrestling talk, but
sure,
we're here, so why not? We'll get into, obviously we're going to get into all the shows between AEW, WWE happening this weekend. Some of the indies that are happening as well around the Midwest, Northeast here as well. So there's a lot happening that we're going to try to get to. But you know, I find I came up with, the promotions I came up with and doing the video and everything, and I'm used to seeing a lot of trainees at the shows just there ready to help.
Oh,
right? Sure.
And
then it's been astonishing going in, the number of promotions I've been to, seeing places where it's like, okay, I don't know what it is where, like, sometimes, like, okay, there's a school and there's a bunch of kids ready to help. These guys don't have a school, but there's a bunch of kids ready to help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like seeing that and kind of surprising where that does happen and doesn't happen.
Absolutely.
Is really, really interesting. And that culture is so important.
The thing you have to watch out for is because there's another part to this, which is when people feel like, once again, graduating from ring crew is an accomplishment. Because now you have people that don't want to do it. Once again, because it's seen as, well, this is a thing that the trainees do. This is a thing that the Green Boys do. And once again, there's a pitfall there, because if you ever run out of Green Boys and trainees, what are you going to do? No, it's bad.
Exactly.
It's bad for business.
Oh, there's some points where I'm at certain shows and it was like, don't you have a school? Why aren't there people here to help?
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's 100% worse when the trainees and green boys aren't helping, because that means the culture is completely screwed.
Yeah, we've talked about the idea where I've like kicked people out of ringside, like you cannot be here. You are not helpful. You are detrimental to what's going on here.
Yeah,
So,
it's way worse. But once
Sure.
again, but if the culture is also that they're the only people that help, or that somehow you want to, your goal is to graduate out of being this,
yes.
it's once again it creates it's that whole thing about, look, it's not to say, look, wrestling has hierarchies, no doubt, and they need to be there.
Mhm.
But also understanding that everybody's role is vital. Like, you know what I mean? Without trying to sugarcoat it. Like, if you're on the undercard, you probably aren't getting paid the same thing that you're getting, that the main eventers are getting paid, stuff like that. Like, that's just how it is. Especially the closer you get to being on a real TV show.
You know how another part I judge with how good the organization is with how with their having their helping hands is when the ring is done and packed up before I'm done packing.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you beat me, like that's pretty good, and it takes me a while to get all my stuff packed up and stuff because it's in order to things. But still, like if I look around and be like, I'm the last one here. Like that's, which is typical, honestly, and in most promotions I work for, like that is the case. If there's a ring that needs to go anywhere, at least. So
yeah, sometimes you luck out and it's just there.
Yeah. Which again, like I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Obviously, we know like what we work with here on a regular basis, and I wonder, like, are the trainees not getting that experience by having that ring that only moves once a month? If that, and things like that. And obviously, I've seen trainees at across other shows and everything like that, and I think that is really important, though. It's a part of that.
We used to, like back in the day, of course, there was always a big emphasis on, and I think it still exists to some extent, and I think but in some ways it's something that we might have lost, is the concept of quote unquote paying your dues, which was a big thing in wrestling, which honestly in one way it could be writ large as being abused as free help, you know what I mean? But I was never against it, and I always felt like it was character building.
Yes. I think that's the biggest part. Is I feel like we're the old timer wrestling back in my day crew here. But no, I think like you
don't get much more old timer
than these two.
Yeah. I just fermented my mustache just for the show.
Oh yeah,
you like it?
Nice. Are you gonna get a good Hulk Hogan thing going on here?
Oh, well, I gotta bleach my hair for the weekend.
Okay.
Because that whole thing.
Okay.
Because I'm transitioning into my literal, like old man Harley Race, Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, like, so bleached hair, but of course the mustache is gonna stay dark, like, because it's gotta. You have to look as ridiculous as possible.
Absolutely, it's pro wrestling. There you go. But anyways, I don't know where I was going. But no, it is like it's a part with discipline, because not everybody comes up with the same. I realizing in my life, the summer I spent working on a farm is what informed like the rest of my work ethic.
Oh, sure,
right.
Sure.
Like after that, I'm like, oh, anything I do is easy in comparison, right? Physically and things like that. So, and a lot of people go into wrestling and they haven't had that sort of experience, and that's what you're a trainer, that's what you try to instill in these kids, right?
Yeah, I remember back in 2000, driving a ring truck with Devin Devine with oh gosh, what band? Aerials, that band. Aerials,
System of a Down?
With System of a Down, like playing as loud as possible, with the windows down in the middle of winter at 2:00 in the morning so we wouldn't fall asleep. Like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of endurance test.
Yeah, something that's like really good character building and maybe semi-dangerous.
Oh,
that's pro wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you basically have that's a good summary of the business in general.
There you go. Shout outs in the chat room while we're at it. Antoine, you did his panel back at that Japanese con back in the day.
Super fun. Yeah.
While you're in a car between towns.
I was so dead.
I was amazed that worked technically. We had you on a Skype or Zoom or whatever, and a TV in a double tree.
I was amazed that I could be coherent on like 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah, that was pretty great. It was pretty great. I get the props to the AV crew for that. It was a smaller con, so I didn't know what to expect, and I've done things in a double tree that have not worked out well.
I don't want to sound like I'm not grateful. I love the wrestling business, but like if anybody wants to know like what the wrestling business is really like, it's like driving 9 hours to wrestle like for 10 minutes to go drive 9 hours again, to wrestle for 10 more minutes, and to get 3 hours of sleep in a car. Like that's kind of the business. But I will say I brought this all on myself. Like, this is no one else's fault. It's literally mine. Wrestling is a choice, you know.
Exactly. It's like I chose to be here. This is a kind of, God, I don't know why we're going through so many rat holes here. There's a thing from the mindfulness podcast we do this network, Fishing Without Bait, that says I don't have to do this when you get up and go to work every day.
Sure.
I choose to do this.
Oh, sure.
You know, unfortunately, it also runs into when I'm getting really pissed about something. It says I literally don't have to be here, but I chose to be here. And if it becomes too much trouble, I do not have to be here.
Yeah.
You know, like that. Like that's how I justify and kind of put. But also as a wrestler, same thing. You chose this life, right?
Yeah. And like I said, no, absolutely no regrets. But you know. This is but it is,
yes,
you know, it is a choice, guys. And, and if you want to try to, you know, if you have like I have goals, and if you want to try to accomplish those goals, it's going to be a lot of that. But I also, it's the stuff I'm the proudest of too.
Yep.
Is always when there's nothing that, like, you know, better than getting home from like a weekend of wrestling and being like, holy crap, I got through it.
Yeah.
You know?
Like you get home and you're just like, what the fuck was that day?
Yeah. Or that, like I said, the whole weekend, and you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like,
we did what? How many people watched this? We did what with that crowd? We did, you know, this happened. Yeah. It's just like once or twice a week I get that at this point, you know, and it's not always around wrestling. It's just like, that was a weird day, you know, as
you're in
things happen.
showbiz, baby.
No, really, it is. This is the third podcast that I've been on today. And literally one with some pretty important people earlier. So not that you're not important. I mean, like businesses.
What the hell?
No,
this is your show. Sell it. What are you doing? Hashtag hire Glenn.
No. I literally did a podcast earlier with a guy that was like a VP of engineering at Oshkosh, and another guy from Pratt Miller that works on sports cars, and they're talking about how they're putting like cam systems in like emergency vehicles. That's a little more important than what any of us are doing.
I see. I beg to differ.
Okay,
Were any of those guys the first Gaijin wrestler to hold the DDT tag title?
No, they were not. No,
also,
they were not.
And not only that, a jam up guy and a true professional, as according to Jim LaMotta.
None of them have been reviewed by Jim LaMotta, and that is to their detriment, obviously. Well, in the meantime, let's give a shout out to our friends that are supporting this show over on patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. That's what gets the servers going, and so I don't have to worry about it. It's paid for. You guys are helping make sure we don't have to worry about it, and the show keeps going, including our friends at the fan show level. Bo Diggity! Woo! As well as Team Hammerfist, Tupac Family, Bubba Brewer of the Triple B Podcast and APWF, Jason French at the Pop Club level, Dave Prop Ponder, Rats in a Trenchcoat, Tony Kincaid, the True Prince of Pro at the Pete's Club level, the Riz, and at the manager level, Bradley. What?
I was
Should I do it now?
It was very professional.
Isn't that what you do?
Should I do this now?
Yeah, you do it now. We're not hiding from you, Bradley. He commented on your clip talking about this last week and said that we're hiding from him. Is it because I didn't tag him in the post?
I understand that it was not Marcus Twist. It was DD Vice.
Oh,
I do apologize for that.
Listen,
who can tell the difference, honestly?
Listen, you can't tell a difference in tag teams, okay?
Like, you can tell that's Brad.
Kane and I look exactly the same.
Exactly.
We're the same age, too.
What if you're new to it and you don't know Wonder Woman, you don't know he's the first Gaijin champion in TDT, you don't know any of that stuff, and you just walk in, you're like, I don't know which one's Glenn and which one's Cannon. Just two guys that came out and they're wearing leather jackets, you know? So anyways, Riz.
I mean, you know that's Bradley right there.
That's Bradley. There's no hiding that.
Right there. I'm trying to get his ear. There it is.
There you go.
There it is. Right back there. It is.
There you go.
I'm just glad it's not a bodybuilding eagle.
Oh. What are you talking about?
Oh, no. There it is. Not again.
Intern John hasn't been on this show for like 2 months. They went to their home planet of Cleveland. So
sorry, my planet needs me.
I somehow have two. One of them is lower than the other.
Yeah. Yeah, you have
God,
one.
the pec
Just for the
development on that
chest.
eagle is crazy.
That's right. That one doesn't go to
know.
a Planet Fitness.
That ton of vascularity. too.
Yeah,
I know.
with the
It's-
vascularity
for
on
a
it.
bird.
Oh my God, who
For-
is it? Was it Ian Riccaboni goes like really crazy on the vascularity. I think it's on the Outrunners or something. So
I can't wait till we talk about the Outrunners, who had the best match of the week and maybe my favorite match of the year so far.
you want to talk AEW now? We can
Let's
do
do
that
it.
now. To
Let's
me,
do it.
that's the big event of this weekend. Well, the rest of it's
course
just
it
kind
is.
of a scattershot of things happening in Atlanta.
What, you don't want to watch
honestly.
Goldberg wrestling?
I'm not saying I'm not going to watch it. I'm just saying I'm more excited about what's happening in Texas right now between Supercard of Honor and All In. There was an interesting fact. It is for the numbers nerds out there that think that AEW is not doing anything, especially considering they're doing smaller venues lately and everything in residencies. They are on track. Last I saw, for according to WrestleTix, last figures was they're on track at over 23,000 tickets sold for this, and I think they have room for about 25, if I'm not mistaken. Which is more than, I think, like combined across the 3 shows is something like 18,000 in WWE, and that's for the Saturday and Sunday. We're not SmackDown's in a different town and everything like that. So we're talking like NXT is going to be at center stage, which is like, I don't know, hundreds can be in there.
I hate to be a fence sitting, I hate the WWE AEW war in terms of like, I just, whenever like there really are great aspects to both shows.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me that this is so divisive. The Twitter accounts where that absolutely shit on each company are hilarious.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, I'm always looking at it like it's still wrestling, baby.
Mhm.
And they end up, everything that people think is a mistake that the one company does, inevitably the other company does the same shit.
Mhm.
And of
Mhm.
course, then they just they won't bring it up then when it happens, whenever it happens in the other company, they're just kind of like, like once again, I think one of the biggest ones I could think of is like bringing outside people into the wrestling industry and like having them do stuff.
Mhm.
They're like, oh well,
like the Logan Pauls and the
Yes.
speed guy.
Can you believe that WWE has
the guy that Braun Breaker took out at Royal
right.
Rumble?
And then you turn around and it's like, well, they have the Costco guys on AEW.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't want to talk about that.
Yeah,
I'm just sitting here like,
By the way, the Costco guy, I was at Revolution in LA at this Crypt Staples Center, whatever the fuck it is now. That was the loudest. That was the nearest thing to the CM Punk return pop that I've ever heard in person.
Okay.
And that was on 0 hour.
Yeah.
That was on the free buy-in.
Like my only point is that these companies do this stuff to, like to pop a crowd and that's just how it is. It's part of, once again, this is show business. Early WrestleManias were full
Oh my God.
of celebrities like that from outside the wrestling industry.
Elvira was on commentary.
Which was,
She had no business to be on wrestling commentary. She's delightful, but not a great commentator. Bob Uecker, though, belonged there.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I also
Uecker
liked who
belonged
choke.
anywhere.
Didn't Andre choke him
Yes,
in an interview? It was so
Yes.
awesome.
Yes. Anyways, no, but so like this idea that like they see the going into Memorial Day, there was like a big wrestling schmoz of AEW because it's a good weekend to do it.
Oh sure.
And
Yeah.
your schedule is busy. Your TV watching schedule may be busy as far as things go, but they're not in the same town. We're talking about Atlanta versus Dallas area, so like, and I was just looking at the schedule, like they're both doing takeovers in this town, basically, right? Like they have a world, they have a shop, they have signings and everything. I was just watching Raw before this, and they were going down all of that kind of stuff. AEW's bringing back StarCast. They're doing Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. Notice they moved Supercard. Supercard of the AEW did something interesting where they removed any of their stuff from WrestleMania weekend now, and now they put Supercard against All In. So they're a little bit of movement there, which I think kind of helps them because now that's part of they can make their own weekend of events kind of situation, right?
And I think going up against WrestleMania, whether you think the show's bloated or anything else, is just foolish.
You're up against SmackDown, but still you're in that week. But also, I think like watching the WrestleMania weeks, I think there's been a lot of diminishing returns for promotions when like everybody's like, oh, we have a WrestleMania. Like GCW's got to figure it out, but they're also kind of tied in with WWE now. Yep. And then like TNA now will do a show like one of their
and they're literally tied in with.
They're
WWE.
literally yeah, exactly. Like I wouldn't be surprised if the AAA show starts popping up WrestleMania weekends. Maybe we'll have one announced for like a Sunday matinee. It's for SummerSlam coming up here.
I'm sure you guys talked about it when it happened, but oh my God, Worlds Collide was so good.
It was really good.
It was one of my I really walked away from that show just like totally satisfied.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great stuff there. They were still even bringing it up on Raw last night about Corey being part of that and everything too. So
Voice of AAA.
the voice of AAA. Sorry, Joe Dombrowski. But anyways, so they have a lot of stuff happening down there in Arlington. And again, it looks like this is across the street, I think, more or less than where WrestleMania was a couple of years ago, right? Over at the Texas Ranger Stadium. It's a whole big complex. It is always like up by MetLife. It's a big complex there too now, right? Like they're gonna literally have like probably SmackDown across the street at the Zion Centers or whatever it is now. And there's the American Dreams there. You can ride roller coasters and go skiing in the middle of August.
No kidding.
There is an indoor ski slope. Chest Flexor tried talking me into going. It's like, we're going skiing. Okay, we're going to go. I'm going to New Jersey. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? We're going to New Jersey. He's like, all right, we'll go to Seven Springs. They might have some snow left. I'm like, okay. So the one time I went skiing.
I didn't even know indoor skiing was a thing.
It's a huge place. When I went to 20.
How big does the building have to be to put a hill in it?
It's big. It's like, it's a mall area, and it's the end where they have the roller coasters for the Nickelodeon zone, and then they have a big DreamWorks wave pool water slide area, and then they have the skiing area. You walk in there, and then there's manufactured snow, and then if you look at the building, it just goes. It looks like the lift of. You ever been to Cedar Point and seen the disaster transport?
Yeah,
the building that
quite
was
some
in.
time ago.
Remember, like you saw, like there was an angle where you could tell that's where the lift was in the building. This is what it looks like, but it doesn't go anywhere. So,
is this straight up like an airplane hangar?
Maybe.
Like I'm looking at videos, and it's just like you said, it just goes on.
It's at American Dream.
It is wild what we've figured out how to do. I hate to sit here and sound amazed. I'm sure there are people watching the show going like, duh, we've had this for years. But for me, it's just, you have to understand, as a guy who owns his own business and then spends all the rest of his time wrestling, I haven't been on a vacation in 20 years. So...
Yes, this is why I build vacations into my work trips. So it was like, oh, are we going near Disney? Guess where we're taking a couple days.
I wrestled a match during my honeymoon. So I mean, like, much to my wife's chagrin.
I don't know why we're doing this here. This is somewhat wrestling related because Chest Flexor is the one that showed me this. I think this is a live camera, maybe, of the ski resort. So yeah, it's indoor skiing.
That is crazy.
Yep. You can't even see the top of the hill because of the building, because it's at a kind of a curve to go up the hill. So this is like the bottom of the hill, and there's a ski lift and everything. So I think
about the amount of energy it takes just to keep that place cold.
Ridiculous. Especially like now. Like I think they just declared New York City as subtropical.
Like it's just, that's crazy. I get upset when I have to run my air conditioner too long.
Oh God, I have so many window units going on right now. Big snow up there at American Dream. And again, I think that's like kind of an advantage if you're going to SummerSlam. You got 2 days at MetLife, and then like the American Dream like mall. It's like a Mall of America, basically.
Okay.
Right? Like,
do they have a Hulk Hogan themed spaghetti restaurant?
No, but there's a Mr. Beast burger.
Oh, the hell with that.
Same thing, I guess. Same thing. Where did I see Hogan opened a new shop in Pigeon Forge down the road from Dollywood.
Is this the wrestling shop he opened? Because he has like a bar karaoke type of joint. So
he's got the beach shop in Orlando and in Clearwater, and then right up the street on the same block in Clearwater, he does have a bar on the corner.
Right.
So they say karaoke. I would not be surprised if there's karaoke.
I believe he does. They host like a karaoke night because I've seen videos of it.
I mean, it's got a big pop of him and everything in there, and it's like a block from the beach. There used to be, the sign wasn't there last time I was there, like a couple years ago. But Bushwhacker Luke also had a gym on the same block.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it was
but yeah, when I for a while, my icon on one of these social media things was the Hulk Hogan from Pastamania. Because Pastamania is the funniest thing that ever happened in wrestling. I mean, like it.
I still use my Hulk Hogan from that. I have a coffee mug, but I think it's hilarious because it's just an overblown Hulk Hogan riding a shark. So I mean, it's the most ridiculous wrestling thing possible, which I kind of love.
Listening to him, like when he was shilling that, like, and then talking about like like he's like he's obviously in full on bodybuilder mode still at this point.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm just sitting here going like, you're not eating this. There is like, just to be clear, there is no way in hell you are eating this.
Yeah. Well, isn't that a thing? Like, like Wingstop and whatever other thing that they advertise, like everything advertised on WWE Raw is stuff that the people in the ring would never eat.
I mean, well, yeah, depending. I mean, like Wingstop, you can get away with,
sure,
like because once again, it's more like
Burger King chicken fries, and
when they had the Chex Mix monster, like the Chex cereal monster hanging out at ringside. Yeah, it's just stuff that like no wrestler. But what was it? Was it Randy Orton that drank a little bit of Prime and made like a disgust face?
Yeah, because he was feuding with Logan Paul at the time too. But that was so great. Like that popped me crazy. I was like, that's awesome. We're like, he doesn't,
because Prime is actually gross. By the way, I hope this doesn't ruin my chances. Like I just I don't want to say anything to get myself unhireable, but Prime is gross.
Yeah. It was too sugary, I thought.
Yeah, it's definitely made for Gen Z or whatever.
Yes, and we already talked about what Sequence Spiked is last week, so that was good. Anyways,
looking at the menu for pasta.
This could be the source of my feud with Logan Paul.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
He doesn't like Prime.
Feud. Yes,
he could pour it on me like when they poured alcohol on CM Punk.
Jeez, I still can't believe they did that. Anyways, AEW All In this weekend. Also, there is Ring of Honor's having Supercard of Honor, and that started taking shape as well. I know they're going to do Lee Moriarty and Blue Demon, I believe, is going to be, because they set that up at the Worlds Collide. By the way, I noticed tonight Worlds Collide. Yeah, Worlds Collide, from the CMLL crossover show they did from Arena Mexico. They did debut it on YouTube tonight. They were doing a premiere. So if you haven't caught that yet, it's a very good show. Go check that out.
So I made a funny face for a second. That's because, did you see on Botchamania the face Blue Demon made during the national anthem?
No, I did not.
I think it was for.
I'm sorry, Global Wars. I'm saying Worlds Collide. Global's worse.
So I don't speak Spanish, so I might be misinterpreting what Botchamania posted. Yeah. But essentially, I guess the person who was singing the Mexican national anthem messed it up.
Oh no!
Or something like that. There was some of the words weren't right or something like that. Now I don't know if that's true. That's just what was on the captions, and I don't speak Spanish, so I don't know. But Blue Demon, geez, big difference. Big difference. But Blue Demon turns, and like even through the mask, you can see this face of like, what? Like that's not right. And
that is a death stare.
And it made it onto Botchamania, and it's pretty funny. Blue Demon, by the way, is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So Lee Moriarty is incredible. So that's going to be that. I can't imagine that being anything but awesome.
They had a tremendous match, and that basically set up. They're going to do a Pure Rules title match at the pay-per-view.
And he has a really good, having worked out with him, like I think last year, like he has a really good grasp of that style, of just the Lucha Libre style. Like he definitely studied it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just a quick rundown of what we're going to see here on this Ring of Honor, and if you're a member of Honor Club. Also, I've noticed you can buy the AEW pay-per-views on Honor Club. They're the same price. I think they're like $50. But if you kind of want stuff all in one place, like it's kind of a nice spot to do that. And it's relatively the same interface as New Japan, by the way. I think they use the same software back end, so maybe organized a little bit different, but otherwise. So main event's going to be Bandito and Takeshita for the ROH Championship.
Awesome.
That's going to be amazing. I believe they did Bandito and Mystico on Global Wars, by the way, which was also very good. Looked like it was from the show the night before that they had. That was from the CML show. And Athena and Thunder Rosa for the women's title. That'll be good. Sons of Texas, Dustin and Sammy against the Infantry, Sean Dean and Carly Bravo, of course, part of the Shane Taylor Promotions. Lee Moriarty, Blue Panther for the Pure Championship, as I mentioned. Nick Wayne and Titan.
Oh wait, hold up. We got our blue wrestlers. still confused. You said Blue Panther, not Blue Demon.
Yeah, I think I mixed up. Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say, that makes sense.
Is Blue Demon a AAA guy?
Yes.
Okay. Oh no. Oh,
We're all good.
They used to have Blue Demon on because they used to do a deal with AAA.
Yes.
So there you go. Okay, so I'm not too.
By the
far
way,
off.
they're both great, so it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
But I think Blue Demon is significant. I don't want to talk out of turn. I do think he's like older.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe not.
Because I think there's like a son of or something.
Because Blue Panther had the match with Brian Danielson, right? It was awesome.
I think so.
Dude, once again, there's like 1,000 matches, and
Blue Panther is 64. Has Blue Panther Jr. is his son, and the other son is Black Panther, and the other son is El Hijo de Blue Panther.
now watch this. How old is Blue Demon? Just wondering. I bet they're actually the same, and I totally screwed this up.
Hold on, Blue Demon. Wrestler. Let's do wrestler. Do we have to bring the Gronk AI back out for this, Riz? Blue Demon is
That's not right. That should be.
Well, the Blue Demon died in 2000.
Wait, then
Yeah.
who the? Oh my gosh, then I'm really messing
I
up
think
whoever
there's
it was.
another Blue Demon, but yeah, there's
Oh my God.
Blue Demon a Junior who is
Wrestling Mayhem Show, folks. I
Blue-
apologize.
I apologize.
I don't know what the hell I'm talking
I
about,
apologize to Mexico.
and I definitely don't speak Spanish.
Blue Demon Jr. was on Lucha Underground via AAA. Yeah, I think that's the demon, that Blue Demon that
Okay,
we've seen more recently. But Blue Panther is
58.
the one that's CMLL. So yes, okay. Either way, so that's
I'm sure I'm getting slammed in the comments. Corrected,
we'll find out later. When I put this clip out,
No, geez, don't clip this. Clip all the stuff that you've been doing great. Clipping me to make me look real smart.
there you go.
I'm really leaning into my gimmick as being an idiot right now. Like, this is going great.
Perfect. And as far as All In goes, hey, it's only got 8 matches, guys. But we also haven't had Dynamite for this week, so we'll see what happens.
Every one of those matches is going to go 20.
Oh yeah,
No, I'm kidding.
Tony Storm, Mercedes.
That dude,
That
is anything better than Tony Storm right now in women's wrestling for
right
real?
now? That's at the top of the list according to this. Like they, and then Moxley and Hangman for the AEW Championship.
I think there's some spice behind that.
Dude, Okada and Omega. We're gonna do the Casino Gauntlet matches for the men's and women's. Swerve and Ospreay against the Young Bucks is gonna be Control versus cannot challenge for the AEW World Championship for 1 year. So, and Cole and Fletcher for the TNT Championship, and the Hurt Syndicate against Jet Speed and the Patriarchy, which is Christian Cage and Nick Wayne, and then Speedball and Kevin Knight. That's going to be a fun match.
How about Kota Ibushi making his big comeback?
Yes.
By the way, Kota, if you want to go again,
That's right. We were looking at a match with you and Coda.
I've wrestled.
You very young
I've wrestled
Coda.
Kota a few times. If you want to try me again, I'm game.
Okay, who's going to book Coda in Pittsburgh at this point?
You can try to kick through my chest again.
There you go. There's an idea. I don't know if he's based here now or what, because he's signed.
I mean, he's so
But-
good. Dude, he's so good. He's so good.
So I think he had an injury for a bit, didn't he? Like that he's back from, maybe.
I want to
So-
I want to say at least he wasn't as active as he is right this second.
Yeah. So hopefully that's going to happen. I don't know. Will Ospreay still comes in from England
Yeah,
apparently on a weekly basis, which is bonkers. But I guess the AEW schedule isn't terrible.
That's always been what I've heard is the advantage of AEW is you're like that the schedule for WWE is more what is it, more pressing, more like it's going to tire you out more.
Well, I also think
Rigorous.
I've been thinking about this schedule too. We talk about how there's a big weekend this weekend, but also like we had a double taping here in Pittsburgh that we talked about last week about Raw and SmackDown. So everybody got July 4th off, and then they had Monday Night Raw, and then we're gonna have I think they're in Nashville for SmackDown, and then 2 days in Atlanta, and then wherever Raw is the next day. So now you're in this phase where it kind of comes in spurts. Because they got rid of live shows. They're going to do a super show in Mexico. There's a couple of live shows, like usually on the foreign tours, it seems they're still doing. Maybe the holiday tour they'll still do. But they're not doing this thing where everybody goes out for at least 2 days and TV. That's not happening. So and plus, if you look at the cards, other than Seth Rollins is there every week, right?
Yeah, of course.
Penta's there every week.
Has to be.
Rusev's there every other week. Sheamus is there every other week. They're doing that thing that AEW does, where other than some deeply core people, they are not sticking everybody on every show week to week. They're getting time. So I think to a certain point, and obviously some people like go out on the indies. John Moxley's crazy and goes Wrestling Revolver, right? And things like that. I don't think he's doing as much anymore, but like he was doing Defy, and I was like, meanwhile, he's just like, and in a couple days, he's facing whoever on AEW, like crazy stuff like that. So I think now media schedule's probably crazy, right? But you're not taking bumps for 3 nights in a row every
which is
week.
I mean, the older you get too, like,
and
just the more you do this, like they're definitely even 2 matches in a row can be rough.
Mm-hmm.
2 nights in a row can be rough. So like, yeah, when my last tour that I did in Japan, there were a lot of times where we worked multiple times in that week.
Yeah.
Building up to like the Cork and Hall shows.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's, because the problem is, it's not even, if you were working and then you were sleeping in like a bed and like kind of getting a normal night's sleep, you could probably be all right. But the problem is you're working and you might sleep on a bus.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
because you're going to the next town.
Yeah. And then you're just beat up.
And you're just what's left. And I think that's, I think we've talked a lot on the show about how, we talk about how New Japan's so hard hitting, but it's like, you look at their schedule, it's like, okay, they're in 8-man tags and they'll do like 1 big match.
Yep.
Like 1 or 2 a month. Right. WWE is doing, okay, you're on every other week. You're not doing house shows. People are going hard for Monday Night Raw. They have booked Monday Night Raw to be a pay-per-view level event pretty much every week at this point.
And it kind of lives up to the hype.
It really is right now. It's incredible. Like, there's not a lot of filler. SmackDown was
a lot of segments. They do a lot of segments.
Sure.
But that stuff's entertaining and important for wrestling too.
Like, you had 4 matches last night, and 3 of them involved Seth Rollins' faction.
Yep.
You had and again, I love these like full storyline shows. You started with their faction, saying, and set all the seeds that you did there, and then you went into there's backstage segments going into these matches. Paul Heyman comes and talks to Penta and says something in Spanish, and all this kind of stuff. Cross attacks Sami Zayn again, like, so you have this interweaving thing going on, and then you have a sidebar of the women's situation. Excuse me. Wow. The women's situation and leading into Evolution and everything you need to do there and pre-tapes and all this stuff. Like, it's such a, it's such a different show than it was 5 years ago.
Yep.
Watching in person too. SmackDown was the thing that felt like the problem of old Raw. SmackDown up until last week felt like last year's Raw.
Okay.
There was definitely filler to get the 3 hours.
Sure.
There was definitely like, we could do without this match, like that kind of thing.
I felt like everything on, at least on Raw this week, and just in general it felt like it was building to something.
Yep.
It felt everything seemed to feel, everything had gravity to it.
Yeah.
I thought the Goldberg Gunther thing, he didn't hit the spear, right? He teased it. And
he teased and he got out of the way.
Got out of the way. Yeah. Yep. And then, which was smart, I love the El Grande Americano stuff is amazing. You would have thought this would have run its course, but it has not. It's so good.
There's a point. I'm catching up with it. Now I watch a lot of wrestling while I'm doing, especially like my social work and stuff like that. Right. So, it's great background. I can mostly keep an eye on it. And there's a point where, Americano talks. And it sounds very not American, not Spanish. And Cole and Corey are just going back and forth and both having a fit in either direction about his identity. And like Cole just like having an aneurysm over the Grande Americano is like my favorite thing right now. Right. And then like he comes out, they get out of the ring. He's grabbing the guy, says something to him. They catch it on the camera. It's like, that didn't sound like Spanish at all.
So,
and then Corey's like, how dare you think that he should only know Spanish?
I love this angle, but part of it's because El Grande Americano, whoever he might be, is just a worker who I think is just really great.
Absolutely. And even the new one is pretty great. Sorry, Riz, go ahead.
Well, first of all, I I hope this is building to like a Survivor Series 94 type match where they have El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano.
Okay.
And
I would rather it
Liam
before El Grande Americano.
yes. And then
El Grande,
Liam Neeson comes
venti,
in to
tall,
promote the Naked Gun movie
Mhm.
with the trying to figure out who the real El Grande Americano is.
It's like a kind of an
but-
elevated Doink storyline.
Oh yes. Oh, that'd be good too.
One rolls out of the ring. They have a match at SummerSlam with Americano versus somebody. Another one rolls out of the ring, and they just do the spot of Doink and Crush from WrestleMania.
Double Grande.
The double Grande,
So that show,
double shot Grande can be their tag team.
that WrestleMania gets shit on a lot.
It's-
but
it's
there are some, and it's fair to shit on it, but there are some good moments. And
Mhm.
that actually, that Doink Mirror moment is kind of awesome.
It's,
It was
yeah.
great in the moment.
You know, it was unfortunate that he had to wrestle Crush. Because what do you do?
Listen,
No,
as
no
a,
shade. Sorry, Crush.
Let's see. As a
Like,
what was that WrestleMania 9? That was 92ish. So as a 10-year-old, man, I was all about Crush, bright colors.
Mhm.
Steiners versus the Islanders. Go back and
Mhm.
watch
Those.
those.
That was an amazing.
Is
match.
actually a super
Very
amazing
good.
match because that
Very
show
good.
the reason that show gets shit on is by smart marks about like work rate and stuff like that, and that's fair. Like, but I don't think you could. I don't think you could argue
Mhm.
with that
Mhm.
match is great. I mean, it's great top to bottom. Super dangerous, scary spots in that too. Power slam from Rick Starner off of one of the Islanders' shoulders onto the other Islander. They go for like a doomsday device, and Rick Steiner catches him into a power slam. It's scary.
Ponder says we need Elijah to come out as El Grande. I just want Kevin Owens to come back, see Elijah in NXT/TNA, see a Grande Americano as a thing, and just lose his mind again. You know,
I wish Chad Gable was still with Otis, so Otis could come out as El Grande Americano.
Mhm.
maybe, who knows? This could get even crazier. Chizawa can be one. You know,
I can't wait until they actually pull the trigger and make Omos part of this too.
Oh, that would be amazing.
The rumor has been going around,
Is
by
that
the
a
way.
thing?
It was a great Chris Van Vliet interview where they brought it up. So
They brought him in. They brought him back just for that.
I mean, well,
Mhm.
they talked to Omos, I know, and I don't remember if he asked him if he was, but he was maybe he was talking with no, he was talking to Sam Roberts, and they were speculating. So you know, it's out there in the world, so who knows? But
I think
anyway,
the best part of last night's match, that whole match last night was, El Grande goes on to like.
and he's taking
Is
on.
it flat on
By
the
the way, he's
table?
taking on Dragon Lee, who is an amazing luchador to begin
Yeah.
with, right? So
Yeah.
go ahead, Riz.
But like he get El Grande goes flat on the table
Mm-hmm.
with his head to Michael Cole,
Mm-hmm.
and then like after a while he gets up and he goes, Michael Cole goes he gets very confused about who that is, and he starts talking about how blue his eyes are. I'm like very in depth about his
In a way that
eyes.
implies longing.
Yeah, like he was staring into his eyes.
I stared
like,
deeply into El
oh,
Grande Americano's eyes.
Dude.
This guy was a war correspondent.
Listen, Unchained Michael Cole is so amazing in the last year or so, earlier too. So, like, there's so much pent up energy that he gets to let out, and turns
And I
out
think-
he's funny as fuck.
When they
Yeah,
when
and
when they let these guys off the leash, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
so much better. Same thing with
Oh, yeah.
promos and all that stuff.
If they're having fun, it comes through, man. You know, it's so great. I keep hearing interviews about like there's one where they were talking about, there was one about the Sheamus tea party with Santino, and they were talking about how there was a meeting where Sheamus was told he's allowed to break and laugh because it was like, is that after Vince
God,
laughed?
I would hope so.
Is
Have you
that-
ever
is-
seen the segment?
is that
the
a- is-
segment's insane?
Oh yeah, is that because Vince laughed during a Santino segment? And he's like, yeah, probably. So like things like that, right? So anyways, let's take a moment here. We'll talk more about the WWE weekend, AEW. Obviously, we're excited for the Mercedes and seeing that, and also remember, Forbidden Door is still in England next month, and I hear is doing very well. So I forgot about that, and also there was an announcement that All In will be coming back to Wembley next year.
Nice.
So I think this is a matter of scheduling. who did they say got it? God, some big act got it for like that, because there's like that bank holiday weekend that they were trying to get, because that's why it was always that weekend in August, right? And somebody else had booked Wembley for that year and had it booked for like several years. So I think it's like a going away tour or something for some band. But either way, in the meantime, you can see a lot of stuff going on, including Glenn Spectre. Even, hey, we got some of your old Wonder Man stuff on there on the YouTube for indiewrestling.us. You can go check that out, watch more wrestling, hundreds of hours of pro wrestling. We're starting something this weekend. I think it's about processed by now, so you'll be able to see it in your feeds. But we're going to be unleashing. There's something I learned, that you can put videos of up to 12 hours on YouTube. And which means if, it's a weekend and you just want to put something on YouTube and not think about it for a while, we're starting that this Saturday with VCW. And if any luck, I'll have something on Sunday for you too, for another promotion that's coming back. But you can go see, I think we have the first 4 events of Victory Championship Wrestling will be premiering at 9 a.m. on the indiewrestling.us YouTube page, if I've done all this correctly. And so you can get your Saturday morning wrestling.
Hell yeah, VCW.
Going into your entire afternoon and evening of wrestling. So, but if you're going to need an alternative or anything like that, or you can just put it on later.
And Victory Championship Wrestling is a great alternative because it is a variety wrestling show with a lot of cool different kinds of matches.
Yes. I believe in these early ones, there's a pirate on commentary.
Oh, man.
So
that pirate also was in an evening gown.
Yeah, that was your first show.
That was my first Victory Championship Wrestling show. I was like, I love this.
It's amazing, and it's coming back here at the end of August. I believe August 31st is the date that they're coming back to Macon, West Virginia. Of course, that'll be on indiewrestling.us streaming as well. But in the meantime, catch up with the entire history starting in 2022 of the second show, I believe, maybe the third show, is by the pool. So I can't remember if it's part of the show. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's part of the show where the wrestlers end up in the pool.
Little bash at the beach type
little
action.
Bash at the beach kind of action, and so yeah, it got pretty crazy. So go check that out, relive those memories, or check them out for the first time there. We have Glenn Spectre.
This memory too.
What's that? And that memory, that's part of it too. That is part of it. Yeah, that was the last show I think we had there, right? So there you go. Mm-hmm. Glenn Spectre, the Troublemaker. Plural. So.
There are 2 of us. I'm getting information. He's gonna let me know.
Okay, we'll see if you can pop in here. Hopefully, while we're still focusing on you guys, because we do have a lot of WWE to talk about. But so first of all, I've noticed a shift. I thought this was a one-night thing, so I went to Pit Fight and noticed a different tone to the Troublemakers.
Mm-hmm.
Hadn't seen you for a little bit. Went to APWF here a couple weeks ago. It's up on the YouTube, and you're taking on Beastman and Zach Nystrom.
Yep.
And I saw signs, and I'm like, well, certainly these are heel marks out here. But no, you are a beloved Central PA tag team now.
So the crazy thing about wrestling is when you do something well for long enough, I still consider myself a bad guy.
Yes.
But if you're a bad guy for long enough and you do it well enough, the crowd likes you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of us kind of turning babyface in areas has been kind of organic.
Mm-hmm.
That the whole APWF thing, the way it went down, I don't want to give too much insider pool, but I had a feeling that it was going to go that route.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just kind of did. And some of that got worked out on the fly. It was part of the magic of pro wrestling. It helps when you have 2 great guys that you're working with. So, my hat's off to Nystrom and Beastman. I definitely want to run it back and, do it again. But Kanan and I have been building a ton of momentum. I'm really proud of what we put together, and the matches have been great. The team is working out great. We're getting out all over the place. I feel very good about the entire thing. And once again, when you do something, you do it well and you do it long enough, no matter how much you cheat, no matter how much of a bastard you are, eventually the crowd kind of turns it around and just by virtue of you being there. And they like to see us. We're a very dynamic tag team. you know, they're like, I don't like, I can't really say much more than that. It's one of those things where not only that, but in a kind of a, you know, and not to not to talk ourselves up so hard with the whole, you know, I'm not trying to compare. We haven't had the time to become like a Legion of Doom or like something like that. But if you whoop enough ass, you just become babyface by default.
Mm-hmm.
And we go out there and we put it all out in the ring whenever we're together, and the crowd's just starting to turn for it. They you know, they like seeing us kick the shit out of people,
Mm-hmm.
and we are kind of ass kickers. And you know, if you look at Kanan, when the whole natural thing, it's true. I mean, he's just is the most naturally gifted wrestler I've ever worked with. Just a total ass kicking machine. And, you know, not to talk myself up too much, but I'm the boss of professional wrestling for a reason. And it's because I go in there and I take charge and very strategically minded. And so we always have a plan. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. But we've been tearing it up in the NWA too. So, you know, not much else to say. Like,
And because of you, Beastman got mic time.
yes,
We saw there on the footage there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
I tried to cut that off as quickly as possible.
Yeah. I'm just like, oh God, give me the mic.
My whole thing was, I was like,
On the mic
I was
before,
like,
and it's
anytime we're fighting and a mic's involved,
Yeah.
I'm always like, I can't wait to see this mic. You know, like the thing that's so great is how promoters are like super worried. I'm like, dude, I'm a professional. We're not going to break this mic. I wrestled Beastman and I commentated while I was wrestling. I wrestled him the entire time. I got hit with a black hole slam and still protected the mic. I took the damage on my body and saved that mic because I know how these promoters are.
Yep. Well, I mean, we already lost one sound person in this venue, so I was like, I saw you guys going down with this, and I'm just like, oh, here we go. We're about to lose another sound guy. So, but no, everything worked out really well there. Yeah, it was a fun show. That was the APWF Redemption show. That's on the YouTube.
Bubba Brewer is a class act. I love working those shows. I hope we have many more. In terms of promoters, he's one of those guys who goes the extra mile for the boys.
Yep.
And everything is run super professionally, and it's just a great show.
And I like that he's back at the S&T Arena in Indiana, because the Castle in Johnstown was good, but you know there's a lot more space there.
Venue's great. Like I said,
good venue.
If you know, as a guy who's worked extra work for like the biggest companies, you know, in the United States, and like. When you're backstage for the APWF thing, you really there's catering. There's like it is a great show, and a lot of promoters could learn. I understand not everybody has the resources, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but a lot of promoters could learn a lesson in terms of like, I'm always willing to go out there and, you know, like, look, I try to give it 100% every show I'm on because you never know. Like, I'm not even saying this in an altruistic way. You never know who's watching. You know what I mean? But at the same time, when somebody treats you that well, you really want to put on like a super good match.
No, absolutely. Or even the fact that if a place has catering or something, or pizzas in the back or something, like that's one less thing you have to worry about as a performer. You can just worry about the work you're there to do. I actually took a peek backstage in the catering before I left, just trying to find some people to say bye to. And it looked like, and I'm seeing like, you know, Bill Kyer and like a lot of the wrestlers and crew were there. And I'm just like, this looks like a family picnic kind of gathering situation. You know, there was good vibes back there, you know?
Yeah.
So.
It's just the locker room was it's one of those locker rooms that's very strong in terms of everybody in there is, we all are on a mission, have, you know, put together a great show. It's one of those locker rooms. It's comfortable, but competitive, which is exactly how I want a show to be. So this is a difficult thing, and it might be controversial to say. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll find out.
I don't like locker rooms that are too comfortable. I think when you're in a locker room and you feel completely at home and at ease, you probably are in the wrong locker room. That's a saying by a lot of old wrestlers. But honestly, like when I'm in a locker room and everybody, you know, and I feel challenged, that's when I know I'm in the right locker room. So for example, I've been doing a ton of work for NWA JCP to show Kazana Promotions.
Mhm.
That's part of my goal is to get on the NWA main shows.
Where are they out of again?
They're out of Tennessee.
Okay, Tennessee, and I know that
Knoxville
they
and
do,
Decatur.
and they do have TV on their YouTube. You can check that
Yes.
stuff out too. A lot of those NWA territories.
We've been in kind of a
stuff.
long-term feud with the Country Gentlemen, who
Mhm.
are awesome, and I mean, like, don't get me wrong, we want to smash them, but they're great.
Mhm.
And among other things over there, and we've been supporting we've been supporting our bro CBD, Carson Bartholomew Drake. We love him. And so, but in that locker room, that I feel like this is a bunch of people who are trying to make it. And like, that is a scary, but challenging, but also that's when you're going to make, if you're a young wrestler and you're trying, like, if I can pass on any wisdom to you, that's where you're going to, you're going to make strides, because in your head, you're like, I want to have the best match on this card. And the hardest part about that is, oh my God, everybody in this locker room is good. That shit's scary. Like that, if you walk into a locker room and you're 100% sure you're going to have the best, oh my God, can I talk about this match?
What am I looking at? What am I looking at here?
Dude, that's a 3-way street fight. It's Troublemakers, Country Gentlemen, Knox and Murdoch for the NWA tag team titles, the tag team titles. Like, once again, it's like sometimes I get in situations and I'm like, this is like a dream match for me. Like, I get that for Knox and Murdoch, in a lot of ways, it was probably just another day at the office and they whooped our asses. But we gave them a hell of a fight. We fought we fought tooth and nail and it could have been anybody's match. There were a lot of close calls in that match. And it was an absolute dream come true. Because Trevor Murdoch and Mike Knox, in terms of tag team wrestling, are a literal measuring stick for real. And Country Gentlemen are just right up in there with us. Like, you have 3, and look at these, like, the 6 big ass bodies in there too, by the way. It's a real Hoss tag match.
That's amazing.
I got suplexed on, Trevor Murdoch suplexed me onto a picnic table.
What is this venue? You're outside.
It's a beer garden. It's awesome.
That's amazing. I love there's a billboard in the background. Are you off the highway?
The crowd was awesome.
That's great.
Like, this was one of the most, like I said, it was such a satisfying time. And it felt like, once again, this felt like progress for Kanan and I in terms of, obviously it would have been more progress if we would have walked away with the NWA titles, but at the same time, just being in there and being competitive, it felt like we're a young tag team. We're still growing.
Mm-hmm. No, that's very cool. I'm very, I've been excited to see what comes out of these here. Obviously, we work with Exodus Pro and have an involvement with that on our production side. But no,
I think at some point,
and Murdoch was in there too, and he was really great.
Yeah, I think at some point, well, yeah, and a couple things like number one, Knox and Murdoch, like I said, they're a measuring stick for tag teams right now. But also, they've had great singles careers. Murdoch was the NWA World Champion for quite some time, carried it super well. So, it was just an incredible opportunity. I couldn't be happier with the stuff we're doing with JCP. I have a feeling, like I said, we've been doing such good work in the NWA. I have a feeling Exodus is they already gave Kanan, he was already in one match over there.
He was in, it was like a triple threat with, it was a
4-way dance. It was
4-way dance.
It was him,
LJ?
Slade,
Cleary.
Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember the other 2 guys. Everybody was good. Because that's, once again, it's another one of those locker rooms. Everybody's good. But I know it was him and Slade. I'm not as familiar with the other 2 guys, but they both killed it. It was, like I said, it was good. It was a really good match.
I'll have it in just a moment because I remember that match. I remember it had some pretty significant names in there. But I think that was all right. We won't get. Oh, here it is. Here actually. Nope, that's not it. This is a different one. This one has Harley Morrison in it. So anyways, there's a tag team match. Either way, some really good stuff there. So you have something coming up this weekend.
Hell yeah.
In Rochester, New York.
Upstate Pro Wrestling.
I've been there.
Fantastic
Great group.
promotion up in Rochester, New York.
Mhm.
My home away from home. My favorite regional cuisine, the Rochester Garbage Plate. I love Rochester, New York, where I feuded with Brody Lee for an entire year. That's one of the places I made my name, was up in Rochester, New York. And I am super stoked to talk real, get this out there. We're challenging in the Upstate 8. It was always like, when I first came back into Upstate Pro Wrestling, I won the World Heavyweight title and represented the company that way. Very proud to do that. But at the same time, the plan was always to bring Kanan in and for us to take the tag titles. I've held the world title there. I made it a world title to begin with.
Wait, the pay window invitational?
Invitational, you know how that goes. You got to get to the pay window down.
Okay, all right.
But
that's a different match. It's not the one you're in.
But the Upstate 8 is it is a very prestigious tag tournament that's been going on all the way back to the early 2000s. Tag teams like Ring Crew Express, if you remember Ring Crew, awesome. Burning River Brigade, which was Matt Cross and Josh Prohibition. A ton of great tag teams coming through there. Rhythm and Booze are going to be in there this year, which are they're in the Upstate Pro Hall of Fame. But I would point out we already beat them and we'll beat them again. Sorry, they're great guys, they really are, but we're just the best. And there's a ton of this year, the guys like Shadow Cat and Shadow Kitten. I'm just messing with them. That's our first round draw. Shadow Cat it's actually his son. It's a father-son team. We're still going to smash them into the ground, but mad respect. Same thing with, that's them right there. High Flying Dynasty.
The Killer Steves I saw on this list.
Yep. Budget Busters, Rhythm and Booze. And of course, the Neck Crankers.
This is the best collection of tag teams I've never heard of, name wise. I'm just not knowing anything about any of these people.
Once again, are we going to crush everybody in our way? Absolutely. You might have seen American Strong Style. They've wrestled for Big League Pro.
Okay.
That's Matt Lawson.
They were on the last show. Okay, yeah. I remember these guys. They were very, very America. Yeah, I remember.
Now, once again,
they were in my corner. The manager kept talking to me.
Are they gonna, will they give us our toughest fight? I don't know. If I'm looking out for a tag team, that's definitely one of the ones I'm looking out for. But here's the thing: you have to understand. The Troublemakers are the biggest, we're the baddest, we're the best. We say that every time because we live it. And there is not a chance. This is a promise from the boss. I'm reaching out to you. Put your hand on the screen. Hold on. Put your hand right on that screen.
Put it on the screen.
All right. Touch the screen now.
Touch the screen. Come on. Touch the screen. There you go.
Reach out.
Reach out.
Touch my hand.
There you go.
Touch my hand and understand when I say this. When I say this, it's not just a promise from the boss. It also happens to be an FAKT fact. There is no way in hell that I am letting anybody walk away with the Upstate Pro Wrestling tag team titles other than the Troublemakers. And that, like I said, that's not just a promise, baby. It's an FAKT fact.
There you go. By the way, we got from the research department of the chat room, True Prince Pro T-Pop out there says that four-way was Cannon and Spencer Slade, Connor Knox, and LJ Cleary.
Yeah,
who was just here this past weekend for Enjoy Wrestling. So that was a really fun four-way match.
But if you're in the Rochester area, do yourself a favor and come to that show. And you know what? If you like traveling and you want to support the best tag team in the United States, hell, the best tag team in the goddamn world, come out and see us. It's worth the trip. I don't care if you have to drive 9 hours. I do that on the reg.
I'm just saying that Rochester is only a 4.5 hour drive from Pittsburgh.
And hop, skip, and a jump, and get yourself a
There you go.
garbage plate. I love garbage plates, man.
Garbage.
Don't tell Spencer Slade though, because he'll get mad. He'll
I
get
would
mad at
imagine.
me.
I
He'll
would
get mad at
imagine.
me. He'll
I
get
know
mad at me.
Another guy who probably doesn't eat a garbage plate.
He does, but I can't.
or
look,
at Haas's.
I can resist anything but temptation.
So no, good stuff there. It honestly, God, probably because my traveling about 4 hours is nothing anymore.
Oh sure, yeah, I can do it on my head.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's a lot of great shows coming up. If I can also so obviously I want you to come see me up in Rochester. If you are in the Western PA area, as you know, I'm trainer at the Stronghold. Rise is having the Rise Rumble, huge show for them. And the biggest thing about the Rise Rumble is obviously the Rumble itself. I promise you, you never know who's going to show up.
Mhm.
It is there are going to be a ton of big surprises. You would, if you're in this area, you are messing up if you miss it.
Well, that's always a fun time. I remember that was always a good one when we were there. So go check that out. And awesome. Speaking of Rise, we just posted the Thea Hale match today.
Oh, yeah.
We just reposted that since she's been popping up again.
She was just what was it? She was on Raw last week.
Well,
right?
they were doing a WWE speed match with her and Alba Fire before the show. So yeah. So
Nice.
yeah. So it was nice to get the hometown deal. And I think she has been popping up there from time to time on those matches. So and obviously she's back in the mix on that. Listen, okay, she's back in the mix on NXT as of 3 weeks ago. I am currently catching up from my travel season on NXT and TNA since they're intertwined. So bear with me on this, but I am catching up. I'm at the point where Ricky Starks still can't talk. So, but no, it's been really interesting to watch NXT. And Elijah and the former Top Dollar are in matches on NXT again, right? They're just like, wait, we're just NXT from 5 years ago. What's happening? Okay.
And I would point out NXT, you could have a great tag team.
There you go.
If you hired the Troublemakers.
There you go. We can use tag teams, I'm sure. So
right?
There's a lot of, I think they're definitely in a rebuilding phase of tag teams. I do love the oh God, who's the guys that are the champions now? It's gonna bother me. The guys that feel like Public Enemy. But they're a lot of fun. And obviously Fraxium just came up to the main roster. So, they're in that like what's next kind of phase on a lot of aspects, though. Including the women, honestly. So, but a lot of opportunity there. Well, a lot of great stuff. Glenn Spectre all over the social medias. We'll be talking more with you here after the break. We are going to touch base on
Dude, can I plug my Instagram real quick?
Okay.
Dude, my Instagram is so close. I'm like 11 people away from 1,000, and then I become a real boy. So, like, if you're watching, just do me the favor, for God's sakes. Have some damn respect. Get on that Instagram for me. Help me get there. Because once you get 1,000 followers, that's it. Contract, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Definitely, your bookings go up, your prices go up, all kinds of stuff. That time Sabu smashed your head in. That's on there.
That's an indiewrestling.us. You can go watch that whole match right now.
Oh, is that a part of my collection?
That is a part of your collection. We can plug that right now. Get on there. Not only that, I think
God.
I invited you as a collaborator. Yeah, you just smashed me in the face. Dude, can I tell you, like, RIP, man. Sabu was such a class act. We were so young, and sometimes, like, are we going to pull the curtain back? We do that sometimes.
Yeah,
right?
we do that here.
Hey, sometimes when you're working with quote unquote names, does everybody know what I mean when I say working with names?
Yeah.
Like, these are the guys who are, maybe they're on a hiatus from when they had a contract with a big company or whatever, blah, blah. These are the guys they bring that an indie promotion might bring in to draw a bigger house, stuff like that. So when you're working with names, sometimes they don't want to do jack. You know what I mean? They don't want to take bumps from guys they don't know, stuff like that. And, to a certain extent, I respect and understand that too, because once again, when you get to a certain level, you become really protective, and this is your living and everything else. Sabu just wanted to work. He took some crazy bumps. He did a dive. Jimmy hit him with a Chimera suplex, which is just a high shoulder crazy bump to take.
What year is this?
Shit, I don't know. 2003 maybe? 2004? Like, oh man, but he was the coolest. His passing is tragic because look, wrestlers, unfortunately our life expectancy isn't fantastic. Everybody knows that. It's but at the same time, like, man, what a great guy to have. What a great guy to have had the opportunity to work. I really, really enjoyed that match.
Definitely go check that out. I know you tagged me a lot on the indie wrestling account. A lot of good clips in there. Yeah, so I was talking about him, Sabu a little bit last week as well.
No, absolutely.
I think
Facade was closer with him than
Yeah.
I had the opportunity.
Yeah. I think he went to the, he was talking about he went to the Battleground to the tribute show for Sabu a couple Wednesdays ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, we're going to talk more about wrestling. We're going to take a quick break here, a little pizza break from our friend Slice on Broadway, and we'll be right back after this.
I'm Eamon.
I'm Merlin.
And we're a gay.
And his NB.
Are you a reality television connoisseur?
Do you like it discussed from an LGBTQ lens?
If so, A Gay and His NB is the podcast for you.
Hear us break down all your favorite guilty pleasure reality shows from Bravo, Drag Race, and just about everything in between.
Listen to A Gay and His NB on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
We are back. It's the Wrestling Mayhem Show. The Riz is still with us.
There's Bradley.
We have Alaska, and Bradley is also represented. And Glenn Spectre,
What up?
also with us. We're going to finally talk about WWE. I guess we kind of have all show. We've been
Okay, so
really-
now I'm
we've been-
gonna derail you immediately because I want to talk about this Outrunners FTR.
Oh
tag
my
match
God! Oh, we do have to talk about
and
that.
how fucking amazing.
That
it
was on Collision.
So
that
it's
was
already
a pre-taped
so
Collision.
so it's already. I'm already like,
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you were, you know, if you had a list of like teams that I really want to face, Outrunners are on that list, and maybe they might actually be the top right now in terms of active tag teams. But that match was insane, and it was a clinic on how to run a hot tag for those people who want to be in the know of the business, or if you're like training to be a wrestler or whatever. The teases for the hot tag were just incredible. Like I was watching it and I was just in awe. I was like, this is. And when they hit Shatter Machine on FTR, I bought it. I was like, shit, that's it. It's over. I was like, that's it.
It was two teams that
I actually wish it had been it.
It was two like old school tag teams doing an old school tag team match.
Yeah,
like that was great, and I love that. Like we're bringing Outrunners out of this like kind of like obviously they're still going to be a comedy thing, you know, but like
they're fun.
But we made them like I think
they're not a joke.
But that was the like we're funny but we're not a joke match, and I think that was I think that was the mission. Like let's take the Outrunners seriously. At this point, because like they've had tag team championship matches and stuff on like 0 Hour or something, right?
Sure.
But you're just like, oh, they're whatever, it's the Outrunners and stuff. They sell merch, that's great. But you know,
my hope is that like the bookers of AEW see that match and go, oh, actually, these guys are. I mean, like they're beyond money. Like they you know. And look, the with any title, the money's in the chase. It's not in actually giving it to the baby faces. Don't get me wrong, but goddamn. Like they giving them a tag title run would be awesome. And I've always been impressed by them anyway, but that match like took it to another level. And FTR, what else can you say? I mean, that hasn't been said a million times. One of the greatest tag teams ever. They've kind of cemented their legacy and all that stuff. But I think people watching that, you're expecting FTR to be good. And then the Outrunners, I was just like, God damn, these guys are so good. The intensity, just off a clothesline. God, the lariat he hit, I want to say Cash Wheeler with, it was crazy. I was just like, this match is so damn good. And like I said, the Shatter Machine thing out of nowhere, like I was just, I literally popped up off my couch.
Yeah, it was really good. You've like, I feel like obviously Collision's kind of the B show, right? FTR kind of lives over there, I think, for the most part, but it does take moments like this where like, oh no, this is still worth watching. It sucks because you don't know which freaking day of the week they're going to be on. I think they're back to Thursday again this week after running Saturday for like 1 week. The NWA fucks them for a lot of things, obviously. So supposedly they're bouncing them around so they can figure out what night is going to work for them.
Okay.
That's the rumor that I saw on the internet, which makes sense because, you know, hey, they got this big contract. AEW is nothing but good for TNT right now because it's live programming and a hot brand. You know, it's a hot brand. It really is. So you know, they're more than happy to have that going on. It's pushing max subscriptions, I'm sure. So you know, I think that's a really good run for everybody. So, but yeah. By the way, they're Thursday this week, so it's part of your like 4 days straight of AEW that you can watch with the Ring of Honor pay-per-view. Plus, Ring of Honor is probably going to drop a show on Thursday too. Who knows? Or maybe it'll just be Tuesday. They'll just kind of do it whenever they want at this point. But I'm here for it. So. Good stuff there. Even God, Ring of Honor has been good too. Catching up a month of it in a row. So
here's the thing: like between the indies and all this stuff, you got your pick of the litter. In terms
absolutely.
There's so much good wrestling going on right now.
Absolutely. So, Tina's saying a testament to training, and they received when the Outrunners got their start in OVW. I was trying to look at like how long they've been around here, and they've been years active, or 2021 till present.
Yeah.
That like I guess as a team,
that's as a team because I want to say I think they both, but one of them longer, but like they've both been around for a while.
Like I can't find individual Wikipedia pages for the members. There's just one for the team, and it just says debuted April 3rd, 2021. So, and obviously we've seen them around here. I think they did Rise a couple of times, right? If I'm not mistaken. And I've seen them down at Conquest. So they've been around like if they're coming out of AEW, I guess they're in the region. So that makes sense. So, and they really kind of popped up pretty quick on AEW, you know, considering.
And assuming they're still doing the indies, which I'm assuming they are, man. Oh my God. I hope that happens. I really hope that happens.
Make it happen, guys. So, all right, let's talk about, again, WWE has a big weekend in Atlanta. Again, we talked about this. They do these big drop-in takeover things for any reason they can come up with. You got Saturday night's main event. It's going to be presumably, I don't know, they actually said it, Goldberg's retirement match against Gunther of all people.
The championship.
For the championship. Holy crap. So what did they say? It's going to be, I think I was listening to Busted Open or something, and I think like Bubba was talking to Gunther and was saying Gunther is excited because this is a big challenge. You know, is like you're either gonna, you know, you're gonna have a good 3 minutes or a bad 3 minutes or a longer match or whatever it is. It's like either way, like if this goes well for him, that really puts a feather in his cap as a ring general.
Absolutely. Though I think I think Goldberg gets unnecessarily shit on for his work.
Yeah, well, now I'll hold you. I'll push back on the unnecessarily because, and I just was listening to him talking about the concussion Undertaker debacle and Saudi Arabia.
God, that match is so bad.
I mean that
he's had bad matches. Okay,
he's had bad matches, and unfortunately, recently he's had a bad match. So, like, you have to take that into account when we're like, oh, Goldberg, here we go. How old is he again? Don't get a concussion, you know.
And I know he's concussed himself on his own move.
Right.
Brutal.
And he admits how he fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, he's aware of this. You know, he knows I think he knows his place now. You know what I mean? And in that history,
it's the bummer around, like, obviously. So like I watched the whole, I came up in the whole time where the rise and kind of the rise and stagnation of Goldberg.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say there was ever necessarily a fall,
man.
And like, it's just, so number one, it's hard to be, there's a lesson in this. It's hard to become great in the ring if you never work. Right. You know what I mean? Like if you're just pushed to the moon, what Goldberg has though is an incredible presence and intensity.
Sure.
And it still resonates with people. Obviously, like the appearance against Gunther, Goldberg chants throughout the arena.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like there is still something there that sells tickets. That's my only thing is just like, there's an immediate from the people who are more plugged into wrestling in general, there's kind of an immediate reaction to just be like, fuck this. Like, and I'm like, for the ticket buying fan.
Yeah. For the WWE audience, this is a big deal.
Yeah. Like, and that's the thing that you kind of can't undersell. Don't get me wrong. As a trainer, I constantly use the line, I can't hit myself, which is my favorite when Steven Regal was talking about wrestling, wrestling Goldberg.
Yeah.
He comes back all frustrated. Well, I can't hit myself, which is something I have literally said to workers when I'm like, well, I guess this heat's going to be the whole match because you're not fighting back at all, you know? Once again, I'm not saying that some of this isn't earned, and I'm certainly not the leader of the Goldberg Defense Force. During the whole, I don't know if you remember, but like World of Wrestling magazine, WOW magazine back in the day, like there was like that who would win Goldberg, Taz, or Stone Cold, because they were they were the title holders of the three, what you would consider at the time the three major companies. And I was Team Taz all the way.
Yeah,
like. Edgy boy. So I'm hardly the leader of the Goldberg Defense Force, but I would say this, the man sells tickets.
Yep.
And that is a big part of this business. And to some people, arguably
especially
on
that level,
yep.
right?
To some people would argue the biggest. While we're trashing his work rate, I would just point out that he certainly has sold more tickets than I have.
There's that too. No, it was funny.
I think the reason why he gets kind of shit on is he was the market person for WCW. That wasn't Hulk Hogan. And the way to do that was he had to be unbeatable. He had to be 100 and whatever and he had to do he had to win all the championships. He had to do that, and I think during that time that worked.
Mm-hmm.
But
it was a phenomenal experience.
Yeah,
but then you get to the point where it's like, okay, there's also like after he loses, it's also you saw like a pretty weird decline.
Mm-hmm.
Like you saw, and again that's more or less story writing for him.
I felt it was
didn't know how to build off of that.
Yeah, I felt like it was, once again, I feel like it was more of a, I think it was more of a stagnation as the way I call it, because the thing that they didn't want to do, and it was so strange when they kind of restarted, there were so many, I mean, look, there are entire books. I literally own one, The Death of WCW. There are entire books written on this.
I just picked up the Bad Guys Audible too.
Yeah,
the one.
They're entire, and I highly recommend, if you're a super fan and you really want backstage, I highly recommend you read it. It's a good book, but
a lot of numbers.
But
a lot of numbers.
The thing is, like I said, there's like a bunch of problems there. Number one, you have this guy who's hugely marketable, so you want to put him on TV, but you're also in a very I want to say they did this for a while with back in the old NWA days with one of the Koloffs, Sickle, the big clothesline.
Ivan Koloff?
No.
Nikita?
Yeah, like, right? Didn't they protect him for a while? Like with like he kind of got a super push, and they kind of protected him because but eventually he learned the business, and like, he had to have real matches and stuff like that. But my point is that I, like, once again, I don't want to shit on Goldberg. He's made a ton of money in the business, and he made it for a reason. He, like, because of his presence, because of his intensity and the stuff he did bring to the business. But definitely, like, when you're protected that way, and what I mean by protected now is not just being pushed, but being put into matches where you're in for such a short period of time, essentially squash matches, that you never have to kind of go the distance. The problem is it's very hard to develop as a talent. Like, you can even be training to have longer matches, but if you're not working for some time and working with that live crowd reaction, it's just not training. Like, even training, and I think you should train as much as you possibly can, even training is not the same as working 20 or 30 minutes in front of a crowd where you can't call everything.
I'd be curious to look back on those matches, because remember, I think they tried to do that, and obviously paired with Triple H, who is somebody who can work wonders with a lot of people, and that was an era where he did a lot between Goldberg and was Steiner going through an injury at the time or something? I thought there was something that handicapped him a little bit.
Scott had what is called drop foot, I believe. If I'm wrong, guys, don't crucify me. We're going real back in the Rolodex here.
Yeah.
But he had what I believe is called drop foot, where it was an Achilles tendon type of issue. It made it difficult for some of his suplexes and things like that, because he, like, literally his ankle would just give out.
So he was hampered when he came in to do that run. But signed a contract, got to go. Kind of situation. So man, I would love the no bullshit interview with Triple H over that era.
Sure.
Of like, you're gonna get Goldberg, you're gonna get Steiner. This was like weird.
It's funny because even among the like once again, we're talking about guys, like, I don't know if Triple H really gets credit for how many guys he had to carry. You know what I mean? Like, and once again, that's not to shit on the guys that he carried.
No,
because once again, if you're selling tickets, you're bringing something.
Yeah.
And sometimes people need to be carried.
He does not shit on his Ultimate Warrior experience, for instance. The squash match he had at Mania. He just like, that was the job, and I was at WrestleMania, and I fought one of the biggest champions of all time. And
you're talking about a guy who is probably even more limited. Literally clothesline, press, slam, splash. Like, and selling
listen,
some very questionable selling.
my member berries of Ultimate Warrior and Ravishing Rick Rude were some of the greatest matches of all time in my young brain. So
I mean,
but Ravishing Rick Rude. So,
I mean,
right?
Yeah, watch you.
One of the greatest workers of that era.
So much of those matches depended on Rude selling.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, and that's
Absolutely. He was so good at it. Yes. Along with that, I think 3 matches announced, at least according to their page over at WWE. I'm sure there's another one in there. LA Knight and Seth Rollins.
Love LA Knight.
Yes.
Seth Rollins is great too, but I'm constantly hoping I want an LA Knight world title run.
Yes.
I really want it bad.
I think it's busy at the top, and he's going to get there. You know what I mean? He
I
keeps
hope,
kissing
but I
that
just
top.
feel like
he's getting a very Stone Cold vibe right
Yeah.
now with the run-ins.
Yes, but it's like guys, it's
Like-
getting close to shit or get off the pot time.
There's so many
let's
people that are at that Stone Cold level. You got Jay, with the Yeet stuff. You got him. You got Cody doing his thing. There are so many people that you could go either way with. You know what I mean?
He's just LA Knight. I just think is a tremendous
Mhm.
talent, and once again, I don't think you just put titles on it, guys, because they deserve it. Don't get me wrong, but I just it's one of those things that would be. It feels to me it would be tragic for him to not get a world title run.
Mhm.
It's just like, come on, the
Mhm.
guy's fucking great.
Ponder says right now, Triple H is so polished he will never get an unfiltered interview. I don't think that's true. Have you heard some of his interviews over the last year or so? Like, he's been pretty honest about shit, especially shit from back in the day.
Oh, sure.
Like, he's been pretty straightforward.
But even that in a way is polished because I think he knows what uncensored or unfiltered stuff.
Mhm.
Because here's the thing. People want that too.
Yeah.
Isn't there some WWE show that's
Yeah.
coming out?
They're going to be like taking you in the writer's room and all that kind of stuff
Yeah.
on Netflix, which
I
I understand the board is not happy with this, I guess.
I'm actually with Jake Roberts on this where I'm like, that might be too much.
Yeah. I mean, on a production side, like, I love the WrestleMania documentary, but also that's from 30 years ago, right? But that's wild to me to see the backstage of.
It is look, kayfabe is quote unquote dead,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. But like, it'll never be dead for me completely because it's still real to me. Damn it!
But there is still a certain point of maybe some people shouldn't see how the sausage is made.
I don't want there's just like sometimes with movie magic stuff. Even I like the documentaries and stuff like that, but it's like
Yeah.
I have to. Let's put it this way. It definitely, at the very least, I don't want to see anything that's before it's going to go on the show.
No, I don't think that's what they're doing. I think what you're going to end up doing
Because that would
is
be crazy to me.
they're going to shoot this stuff. It's a documentary style from the looks of things. It's going to be like, oh, this is how we came into. You remember they did a documentary about how they got to WrestleMania 40? The whole Rock comes in, we want Cody crybabies, and it turned into the tag match. Like when Cody won the Rumble, it turned into Rock said, "Oh no, I'm doing it instead against Roman," and then there was a flashback, and that turned into like a feud, turning Rock heel and all that kind of stuff. Like that whole like interesting, like for 2 weeks it was Rock versus Roman, then it wasn't anymore, kind of thing. Like they had a semi Daniel Bryan sort of moment there. So they put a documentary out almost a year later that says, yeah, this is what we were thinking, and then this happened, and we thought we should change it. Like they talked about that backstage, and whether you believe it or not is another story, obviously,
right?
Because like maybe the story about the story is a fake story too. Who knows?
I mean, once again, they're always going to play to a certain degree with what what's a work and what's not.
Yeah,
I would imagine nothing completely unfiltered ever gets
any interview with any wrestler.
Yeah.
At any level with a pound of salt, even probably on this show.
What was the thing I said recently? I was like, the thing you have to always be worried about is all wrestlers are workers and all workers are liars.
Yep.
I feel like that's really dark for this show. So I apologize to the audience if that makes you nervous, but that is kind of the world we live in. It's kind of what makes it so cool.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to watch out. I'm pretty unfiltered on this show, but we're all bullshitters to a certain degree.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain things I'm not going to say on this show, probably say already too much on this show.
Well, I mean, there's just stuff that we don't need to talk about. Like, I'm sure no like long-time promotion in Pittsburgh imploded like last week or anything like that.
No,
That definitely didn't happen.
No. All good stuff. Good stuff in Millville this past week, at least. Drew and Kyle. God, there was a video about.
I threw you off completely with that one. Well, we're not talking about that, by the way. I'm just saying.
I was reading a video. I was watching a video with Randy Orton talking about his dad, and so now I confused them. Orton and Drew is going to be a part of that main event as well. We'll just real quick, there's a lot of stuff here. Just kind of go through and see if there's any comments. Riz, you as well. Obafemi against Yoshiki Inamura. Is
in a I dare you to pronounce their names match?
Yeah, so basically,
Yeah.
How'd I do, Riz?
Not good.
Yeah, so that's for the NXT title. I don't know. Again, I'm about 3 weeks behind, so I don't know how we got here.
Can we give that dude a name that can help him get over, please?
I don't know. He's a Noah guy, so like he's like, that's what it is. Is this a contract signing? What are we doing on this PLE? I feel like this is the most BS PLE that they threw up. And this is 3 p.m. It's direct, quote unquote, counter programming with All In. This Great American Bash. It's at the center stage, which is the old WCW Worldwide taping place, right? So it's not big. I think maybe 1,000 people could fit in there. Probably not. Actually, 600, I think, is the number that comes to mind. And but anyways, so they're having a TNA title contract signing between Hendry, I'm not Swerve with it, Trick and Mike Santana. It's a contract signing, I believe, for Slammiversary.
Nice.
So that's a thing. North America.
How many tables will they flip for that one? You said there's 3 people involved.
Yeah, it's so many tables. The table is so dead. NXT Women's North American Championship, Sol Ruca versus Izzy Dame. Okay, I love Sol Ruca. Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe, who is the former Mariah May, versus Fatal Influence. Again, I'm just before. I think the next segment, Blake Monroe is about to sign her contract, so to be part of the company. So we have an episode of NXT Saturday afternoon. Before a main event, and then we have Evolution, because I was like sitting there like, why are there no women's matches on Saturday night's main event? Because we have an entire women's pay-per-view the next night in the same arena. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky for the women's championship. Yeah, awesome. I'm here for it. Lyra Valkyria, Becky Lynch and Bayley for the Intercontinental, isn't it?
That's going to be fun.
That's going to be fun. Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus for the throwback match of the day. They're going to have a battle royal. We have Jade Cargo and Naomi.
Tiffany Stratton becoming the legend killer for women's division?
Maybe a little bit, right? So
she's kind of doing the Randy Orton gimmick.
Jade and Naomi in a no holds barred match. JC Jane defending the NXT World Women's Championship against Jordan Grace. Obviously, they're doing a match the day before, kind of setting up for that. We have they have the women's title match. God, with everybody. Raquel Rodriguez, Raquel and Roxy, Charlotte and Alexa. Riz, did you get it from SmackDown? You're Alexa Bliss and Katie is Charlotte.
Is it because I'm short?
Well, there's a patch. You listen.
We can't tell that on the podcast.
Alexa Bliss has a doll. You have the Hulk Hogan Wrestle Buddy that you usually have in timeout. Tall, short, pat on the head.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch SmackDown?
Parts of it.
Okay, you need to watch that match at least. Anyways, Alexa and Charlotte, Kabuki Warriors are reuniting against Sol Ruca and Zarya. It's going to be a 4-way multi-brand match for the women's tag title. We'll have a battle royal and a lot of fun.
The battle royal. Jesus, is this an indie show?
The rest of the ladies battle royal. We don't know what to do with Brie Bella since Liv Morgan got hurt. Battle royal.
All right, so here's the deal, guys.
Okay,
we're going old school indie here.
Okay,
everybody else in the battle royal, let's go.
Yeah, that's basically it. Like, I mean,
now is it a Royal Rumble or is it a battle royal?
It's labeled a battle royale for the women for a chance at a women's title match.
Dear wrestling promoters.
And that's going to happen at Clash in Paris.
Dear wrestling promoters.
Yes. So it's for a title match.
Rumbles?
Like 2
Rumbles?
months from now, end of August, maybe.
Rumbles
Yes.
can be very cool.
Yes.
Battle royals
Yes.
always suck. They're terrible.
That's where the commercial break goes. So
You can clip that.
what about a casino gauntlet match?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Like my whole point is if everybody starts in the ring, it's going to be garbage.
Okay.
If you have 30 people in a 16 by 6 foot
What are
indie
your
ring-
feelings on the New Japan Rambo before Wrestle Kingdom?
Oh shit. You got me on the spot. I got nothing.
You know what? But you know what I'm talking about,
I
right?
actually have no idea
No,
what you're talking
it's always
about.
the pre-show for Wrestle Kingdom. Where's that, Riz?
Let's rewind a little bit further. What do you think about World War III? The show,
Wait.
the match.
This is
match.
this is the wrong time to ask that question.
I know.
I don't
I
think you
know.
should ask that in
It's weird.
2024,
In the current-
Riz.
in the
That
current
was
climate.
World War III.
WCW
day.
World War III.
Yes.
So
Which
let's
they had
qualify
3
that.
of them at least.
Listen, I've had this argument on social media with my wife because
here's-
she always puts the show before the letters of the company
Mhm.
on our shows lately, and I'm like, this
That's-
drives me nuts. And I was like, this is a perfect example why you wouldn't do that if your show's named World War
Mhm.
III.
So my feelings on any battle royal, whether it's a 16-foot ring, an 18-foot ring, or God bless it be a 20-foot ring, is if everybody starts in the ring, it's gonna suck. Like, I'm sorry. It's just
Glenn,
it.
I think you were still on your sabbatical when we did the Guinness World Record 109
I
person
was
battle
asked.
royal.
I was asked to participate in that, and I was like, I am so sorry, but I hate battle royals.
Man, you would have hated the hell out of this, including the 2 people that weren't in the ring and they were climbed the tower that disqualified the Guinness record.
Oh no.
No.
Yeah, that's my understanding is why the Guinness record didn't get verified on it.
Oh,
3 rings, 109 people
yeah.
in a shitty building in what town was that? I don't know, West Virginia.
Watch me in any battle. Like I'm like just if I'm please get.
You're
me
the
out of
first
there.
one out.
It's
It's
just-
just
get me
spot.
out of
It's just
I-
made me look good.
I'm like pull the rope down. I'm out. I'm running out right now. Like
what if you go
my
to
favorite
eliminate
spot in a battle
yourself.
royal is like the bushwhacker spot where I just walk in over the rope, back out the other side.
I'm gonna bushwhacker Luke this shit, and
Mhm.
yes. Anyways,
But guys, like seriously,
see the
am
Renegade
I
Rumble next month.
not to do the am I right kind of thing, but am I right here? Like
No,
has anyone in the last 20 years on an indie show been entertained by a standard battle royal?
it's a spectacle. It's
Is
not
it
memorable.
it's
Is it not to like what is it the Thor meme? Like is it though?
It's terrible to shoot. I know
Yeah.
that.
Once again, not talking about Royal Rumbles where people can come in
Yes.
and like you have these great moments where people like
you have
come
a
in,
surprise.
they hit a
Like,
bunch.
it's
They,
surprise.
Yeah.
and they also get to hit. They also get to show off their good shit. Like I'm gonna hit like 3 things and then we'll go back to brawling. Like and you have like maybe you have 6, 8, maybe even 10 guys, but that's it. At some point, people get eliminated. You clear it out, and then you can have wrestling again. My point is like these battle royals, like they're just not wrestling. Like there's no room to do wrestling. Also, when you're on the indies, guys, let me get like we love to pull the curtain back here on the Wrestling Mayhem Show. When you're an indie guy in a battle royal, when you get to a certain age, you realize that this battle royal doesn't, like I hate to say it, doesn't matter half the time. It's something that the promoter threw on there to fill time.
It's not going to make your career.
Yeah. And so the problem is like, you're in this battle royal and you're like, and then some young kid who thinks this is their last chance to get seen by the Fed, like it tries to like, German suplex somebody when there's 20 people in the ring. And you're like, what the hell are we doing?
I'm gonna give you a panic attack right now. Look at that. Look at all those
Oh my
people.
God.
Look at that. I didn't even bother to edit this. Look
Oh,
at this.
man.
I just threw 5 cameras on and there's one roamer in there and I said, fuck it.
I mean, like, it's cool to make the attempt. So that thing they're doing over there is what disqualified them?
Yeah. You see these guys, you see these 2 yahoos that are climbing the tower that's for another match?
Oh my God.
That's what fucked us. That's what fucked everything up. So yeah, that is. Listen, I just let it go. This is 32 minutes.
So, who won? I gotta know who won now.
Who did win?
Oh, see, now that's not a good sign that they did this whole thing and you don't know who won.
Okay.
Not them. Oh no, I don't know who won. Hold on a second. Where are we at? Where are we at here? Okay, I think it was Brohemoth.
Is Bro?
Was it Brohemoth? Okay,
There you go.
You know, it's been, what year was this? It's I'm pretty sure this is 6 years ago. I'm pretty sure they put everybody's name in a hat
And they just drew it.
and they drew it.
Well, guess what?
And I think
I hate to pull the curtain back even more, but that shit happens all the time.
that's usually the best.
That's the other thing, because like if there's a battle royal on a show with everybody starting in the ring, and it has no purpose.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Yep.
It's probably pulled out of that. I'm sorry, fans. I'm sorry if you wanted to think that these are the great machinations of brilliant promoters, but a lot of times this shit is just there to eat up time.
Yep. There you go. Oh my God, where are we at with this? Who is left in here? I'm sorry, I'm reminiscing on this thing. This was a wild, hot night. I don't even know where they put all the wrestlers.
Did you? No, was this? Can this be viewed on IndieWrestling.us?
Yeah, it's on the YouTube page.
Oh
That's
so
where we're looking
get
at.
out there,
There you
folks.
go.
Get on your
Sorry, it's
IndieWrestling.us,
2,000 views.
and you can watch this madness.
I mean,
this
it's just on the
complete
YouTube.
madness. See, well, at least now they're down to it. They have so many rings that they can now people can do spot. Oh my God. Oh my God. Jesus
They're
Christ.
not good spots, but they're
Oh my,
definitely.
is that guy okay? I like how the other guy just kind of moved out of the way and was like, fuck you.
that's
Me and that's also me and every battle royal.
Jeez. On that note, lots of wrestling, lots of good stuff, and also lots of good pizza. Thanks to our friends at Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Thank you guys so much for those guys supporting this show for over a decade here on Tuesday nights. So it's good to see those guys, hang out with them when I drop in there. And God, I was marveling at how many awards they have on their wall. Actually.
Look, hey man, I don't want to step on your plug, but they are great.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really great. So it's we didn't get Little Caesars as a sponsor, for instance, right? We got like some good stuff representing the neighborhood that we are in here in Beachview in the Pittsburgh area. So thank you.
And just like we want you to support your local indie wrestling, support your local pizza, man. Pittsburgh's a good city for pizza, which is kind of the awesome thing. And Slice is a great part of that.
Yes, thank you. T Pops in the chat room says the building that night was for that world's largest battle royal, was the single hottest building I've ever been to for a wrestling show. Obviously, here we put this. Sorry, I put the show on.
Were there any regular matches on this show?
There were actually.
Oh my God.
You haven't been to an RWA show, sir. So because that is ridiculous. So I mean, you've experienced it.
Here once again, like, because we love to talk insider pool here on the Wrestling Mayhem Show. And it drives people crazy when I'm like, I'm at that point. So when you get to a certain age, I actually like wrestling in the heat. I know that sounds nuts. You have to understand, when you get to a certain age, it keeps everything loose. I would much rather work in a very hot arena than work in a very cold arena, which I've done both. When you get to my age, working in the cold is way worse than working in the heat. The great thing about the heat is everything gets lubricated, baby. Like,
okay.
You start to sweat, all your muscles and joints loosen up. It makes warming up so much easier. I understand that people gas out and stuff like that. Just, you gotta, like, I do all my cardio in like 5 layers, so I sweat constantly. And I'm not saying that to talk myself up, but I got good cardio. Part of it's because when I train cardio, I wear a bunch of layers and I sweat myself to death.
Fitness tips with Glenn Spectre.
Yeah.
Fitting
this whole pizza in my mouth.
There you go. Working that off tomorrow, Planet Fitness for me. But anyways, so what did we learn from wrestling this week? When we got one from the chat room earlier, I want to make sure I get before we lose it. Dave Ponner had popped in that, oh no, maybe it won't let me go back that far. I think I lost it here, Mr. Podner. So sorry about that. The chat room's not working. So what did we learn from wrestling this week? First of all, I learned that bubbles make wrestling shows. So Emily Fear, this happened. Listen, this happened twice this week. Okay. This week or maybe the week before. I can't remember. It's all kind of going together. I think it was yes, Peyton Graham retired 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
On the last 888 show. And Enjoy Wrestling was at Mr. Smalls on Saturday. And in both instances, there were a lot of bubbles.
We're talking the
there were bubble guns.
Yeah,
okay?
liquid soap blow.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. So I watched
I wanted to make sure this wasn't some young Gen Z hip
no.
kid
Yeah,
code for something.
No, this isn't a Sammy Sun Time or Psychedelic Dreams thing. So Peyton and Jack Pollock's in there and Marcus Mann's in there, and they're all doing the farewell speeches for Peyton, right? And I'm just thinking, you think Peyton Graham thought there'd be bubbles during his retirement, kind of thing. And also,
the wrestling fans do what they do.
Absolutely.
The wrestling fans do what they do. You can control, as a wrestler, one of the goals is to be able to control the mood and the way a wrestling crowd expresses itself. But at the end of the day, you can ask this you can ask this of any show that you've ever seen go pear-shaped, or any moment any moment with like I said, even the top companies where the crowd doesn't bite or with what the show's trying to sell, or they bite on something the show wasn't really trying to sell and now you've got to sell it. Wrestling fans do what they want at the end of the day. I
will mention that these were very supportive bubbles.
Oh, sure.
So there you go. There's a little bit of that there. You can check out. But also, whoever had the bubble gun, Emily, also about every entrance that enjoyed this past weekend had bubbles in it.
Nice.
So, to the point where there's a certain point. So we're at Mr. Small's there. There's an old church. They built these balconies in there. If you haven't been in there over the years, they built a lot in there since they first started. So we were streaming the Enjoy Wrestling show for the first time ever. They moved our production to what they called the Wiz, which is this balcony right beside the stage, basically.
Okay.
So the bubbles started coming up in our area, which became distracting.
Oh,
so if
sure.
I missed any shots on that Enjoy show, we can blame the bubbles for that. So, but that was
Bubbles
my
will now
big,
be banned.
and listen,
from
this was
ringside.
and also congratulations to Mikey Montgomery, Enjoy Wrestling champion, beat both Sonny Kiss and Billy Dixon for that championship.
Mikey Montgomery's great, man.
Mhm.
I've worked him. I had nothing but good things to say about that kid.
Mhm. It was a really good show, really fun show. Again, go
Also
check it out.
happens to be a member of a certain podcast I sponsor.
Yes, Top Rope Tabletop, which is going to be on this week, 7 p.m. right here on IndieWrestling.us stream. So go check that out.
It's wrestlers playing D&D. What more do you want? I mean, come on, for real.
They had fun. I know we had a weird scheduling thing last month, so we did kind of a one-off. Did you see
Yes.
what we did with they played the Thing board game?
Yeah, I own both versions of the Thing board game.
Oh yeah.
Hey guys, did you know I'm into games too? That's the thing. I'm so into games. I have a whole store. But
plug that while you're at it.
Drawbridge Games. You can come visit us. We're in the Castle Shannon district of Allegheny County, and it is my store's awesome. Just like I'm awesome. The store is just an extension of me.
You know what? I've never made it down there. I need to make a.
You should come down.
It's very close to me. So.
Tabletop. Top Rope Tabletop is a perfect extension because I wrestle and I own a game store, and that is a wrestling show about a game. So, but I couldn't be happier either way.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they're playing board games or playing RPGs, everybody on that show is very entertaining.
Yes. When are we getting you on a one shot?
I pitched this actually. I haven't had a chance to talk to Kincaid about it, but I believe I talked to Klein about it, and I talked to I briefly mentioned it to Idol. There is a game a very freeform RPG
Mm-hmm.
that involves cards that are kind of like tarot cards, and it is set in my favorite kind of setting. Are you familiar with exclusion zone fiction? You ever read Roadside Picnic? Oh, dude, I'm gonna
I have no.
I'm gonna get
idea.
so called out as a nerd right now. I would point out that I am also a jock. I'm not just a nerd.
Can I interject here for a
Yeah.
minute? Big shout out to Effie, who just rated us with 23 viewers
Oh, geez.
on Twitch.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Hey, Uppy.
Awesome.
Real quick, Exclusion Zone Fiction, made famous by the Russian science fiction novel Roadside Picnic. If you're more familiar, video game people would be familiar with Stalker, which is Roadside Picnic. The movie Stalker is based on that, the Tarkovsky film from the 70s, one of my favorite films. And then the video game Stalker, also based on that. Also the book series Metro. Essentially, here.
Oh, Metro became a video game.
Yes.
Okay. I'm in now.
Okay. So essentially, in Exclusion Zone Fiction, there is an area of extreme strangeness. Okay. Have you ever read Annihilation or seen the movie Annihilation?
Was that with
The girl from Star Wars.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yes. So same exact. All this all fits in the same genre. And so essentially there's an area of extreme strangeness, and a group is brought in to investigate that area for one reason or another. Or there's some kind of treasure that's in the area, not the way D&D has treasure, but like some alien artifact or something like that. But this game is incredible. It's called The Zone, and I really want to run it for that group. I think it would be amazing, because it's so story driven.
Mm-hmm.
The mechanics, it has mechanics, but they're very rudimentary mechanics. The game is driven by the players.
Awesome.
And there is no GM.
Wait, there's no dungeon master?
We're all the dungeon master.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm interested to see how this goes.
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. What'd you learn?
What I learned about wrestling?
Yes.
I have been like, it's a lot. So I guess one thing, like I said, I that FTR Outrunners match reinforced me on the it was in many ways. I think it's a masterclass on teasing the hot tag, and it reinforced the importance of excuse me. It reinforced the importance of building drama and letting something sit in terms of not rushing the hot tag. Like, it's okay to keep teasing it. And the final thing that they actually did to get to the hot tag wasn't overly complicated, because they had so many teases. When they finally got to it, it fucking happened. And then there's this explosion and everybody's super excited that you can get a lot out of. Honestly, you can get a ton in wrestling out of go for the back body drop, guy kicks the guy actually takes a bump instead of that. That's like an old school thing. Like, they didn't. So a lot of times in modern wrestling, you're going to see the heel go for a back body drop, get kicked up, and then there's another spot. Maybe he cuts off there or whatever. In this match, for example, and I'm getting really technical about aspects of wrestling, but what the hell? I mean, people are interested, right?
Especially this late in the show.
Yeah. Like, I think it was Dax goes for a back body drop and he gets kicked and he takes the full on bump. So once again, the crowd thinks this could be the hot tag. Like, just the way that they layered the teases to the hot tag and the willingness to take the chance, because so I'm really pulling the curtain away, but when my philosophy on like running a heat is, it's like a game of keep away, where I'm constantly holding out this ball to the crowd and saying, take it, and then pulling it back. You have to be very careful. Like, because if you do that too much, you get kind of, fuck you, I don't want to play this game anymore type of heat. And then the crowd kind of turns off. Like, so when you're trying to build to a climax and really give the crowd a show, you're constantly playing this game of keep away with this ball with the crowd. They took a ton of risk with the amount of times they teased that hot tag, and they did execute it beautifully. And just a reminder that you, like, if the crowd's into it, you can take that kind of a risk. Though they might have planned the whole thing out. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm talking like I knew what they were doing in the back or whatever. But a lot of that felt organic.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there, you know.
And this is a, you know, it doesn't always work out. Like there was a Botchamania really tore into this one match, and it did look ridiculous. Like there was a match, I think it was the one from Cincinnati they did. And it was like a 2 or 3 way, and it was FTR and a couple other just really good tag teams. And you just saw misses. You know, you just saw a lot of misses. It was a bad night. You know what I mean? You know, which happens.
All of us, me very much included.
Me too. You know, on my side. You know, but yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, it is like, you know, either way, planned or not, the magic happened, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's what's important.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that, like, you know, it to me, once again, they might not have seen it as a risk at all. Maybe it wasn't a risk. I don't know. But to me, it like I said, it was just in terms of what I learned about wrestling this week, it was just like, be confident in the story you're trying to tell, and take the, you know, like, you know, you can stretch this and really try to get the crowd to an absolute fever pitch. And then once again, to pay it off with incredible intensity in the finish, which that was one of the most intense tag team finishes I've seen in a long, long time. Like you know, once again, like I said, I keep getting like these lessons are things that I've seen before, but it's like, I always feel like I'm learning it all over again.
And it's cool to see something that good on that big stage, that tag team wrestling still matters even on that big stage. Like
dude, tag team,
it reinforces that.
I'm very focused on tag team wrestling right now, so I'm obviously trying to promote it more. Yeah. But at the same time, like there's the kind of drama you can build in a tag team match versus a singles match. It's just a different thing, and these you need it on these shows, because 10 singles matches, it's just not the same.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
From the chat, Potter had put in earlier about this. I learned that Ashley Flair poured her heart out in an article about Charlotte Flair. I believe it's this one here from the Players Tribune. It's Ashley as herself talking about some of the struggles in the life she's been through now. So I'm looking a little bit at it, kind of trying to get the gist of it. You know, she's talking about her journey, how she feels like she's just now getting good at 39. She talks a little bit about her fertility issues. So there's there's a lot of deep stuff here, just doing a quick scan here. So definitely check that out. That article is theplayerstribune.com. I'm not familiar with this as a site. It just looks like a general sports sites maybe. But that's the big article over there right now. So I wonder if there's a feature story about Big E actually of interest too. So called Sour. So again, it looks like it's the athletes writing stories about themselves and where they're at in their career.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it looks like it covers a little bit of everything, but yeah, there's a couple of big wrestling ones in there. So that's definitely worth checking out. So go to theplayerstribune.com and you can follow those articles. Thank you, Potter, and thank you, Tina, for bringing back up, because the chat room kind of screwed up for me. True Prince learned that it's amazing to watch great people succeed, as we saw Mikey Montgomery win the Enjoy Championship this weekend, and that was a phenomenal moment. And again, a road that started a year ago when they did Stage AE, because there was that build and you know, the beating MV Young into the Sunny Kiss match for the championship, and obviously, you know, that went the way it went, leading to what we have here. So no wedding this month, by the way, at the show. So but seeing how it ended up, I did ask if we were going to have an in-ring divorce perhaps down the line. So we'll see what happens out of that.
Well, was it a wrestling relationship? That's the question you have to ask yourself, and then the answer is probably yes.
No, I mean, I'm kind of here for it if we have it. Like I
sometimes it works.
I was not there for the wedding show, but man, it sounded like I was given some images while I was off on whatever job I was doing, and
so this will show my ignorance. Who got married?
Sunny Kiss married Billy Dixon.
Okay,
and then Dark Sheik, I believe, was presiding.
So it was a marriage for the Enjoy Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, so then they became co-champions.
Yeah, they became
Billy also paid for Sonny's new boobs too, as part of this in story. So there was
that like a dowry or something?
You know what? I'm just here for the ride.
Sure.
I don't have to understand anything.
Don't get me wrong. I love it.
okay, you need to see this. maybe the Patreon is you watching the wedding. And it turned into and like Lawless was part of it. Was Wild was there. Marco was the flower girl, I think.
Did Lawless write the prenup, or
I don't know.
There should be a prenup.
I think there was hopefully the way things ended up, and it had turned into a match between Dark Sheik and Sunny, still in their dresses. There's a point. The biggest amazing part of this is, Sunny does this press thing and does like walks, goes each side and then does the drop, right? In heels.
Oh my God.
I think they're both wearing heels in this match, right? This is the main event. The main event was the wedding, which turned into a match.
I could not imagine wrestling in heels, period. I
better watch it. You started with an evening gown match,
right?
Show, so
I mean, look, if I'm doing an evening gown match, I'm still gonna wear boots, flats.
Yes, exactly.
Flats, as they call them.
Go ahead, Riz.
I was gonna say, Dr. Bucket, who's part of the Raiders that came in with Effie, mentioned that in that one of the players' tribute articles from Eddie Kingston from 2021 is amazing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Nice little reading that we can definitely take a look at.
Oh my God!
There.
Hey, thank everybody popping in over there on the Twitch from the raid here. What's up,
Effie? Hey, while you're raiding, if you get a chance, could you please follow me on Instagram? I'm so close to being a real boy.
Follow Glenn Spectre on Instagram so he can get 1,000 followers.
I'm like so close.
So close. You may be the one that puts them over on this.
I'm telling you, the second it happens, my understanding is boom, contract right there. The offers just start pouring in.
That's right. Exactly. So what's up from Cleveland and some people in there. What's up, Val Pancakes? I haven't seen you for a while. So really cool stuff in there. So thank you everybody, and thank you Effie for the raid there tonight over on Twitch. I keep forgetting we're over on Twitch actually. So.
If any of you Raiders are in Rochester, come see us win the tag titles. Troublemakers at Upstate New York for the Upstate 8.
There you go. Again, all the plugs. Drawbridge Games
Studios just followed you right now.
What's that?
Corner Studios just followed you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, there you go.
We'll
put you over.
It's dude, it's close. It's close. I'm feeling it. Hold on.
Feeling all.
I'm gonna trash the mic like I did last time I was on this show.
I do get people were starting to call on out how the wrestlers are usually really soft or really like on the mic, and bumping it all night. So it's becoming a noticeable gag on this show.
I'm super aggro on this mic, man.
So, you're at 991 followers right now.
Hell yeah.
Hell so happy. He's
Hell
so
yeah.
happy.
Dude, it's gonna happen.
Yes.
It's like Pinocchio, man. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna be a real boy finally.
And you're up to 1,000 posts though, 1,060 posts. So
what don't call me out right in the middle of the show.
No, you're doing good work.
Matt Cardona told me you got to post every day.
That's right.
This stuff is all new to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just got an Instagram like not too long ago. Like I'm like I was one of those, like, I came up in the early 2000s. We didn't have YouTube even. Like now, dude, you have no idea. Like wrestling fans today, wrestlers today, you just send a promoter a link. It's wild for me to send a promoter a link. When I was younger, dude, we had to pay for like postage. You stuck a VHS cassette in like a little FedEx envelope, and you just prayed. That was it. Literally, and you'd have to sit there and watch the same match that you were sending to these promoters, like 500 fucking times because you're
dubbing it.
You're dubbing it over and over again at decreased quality every time. And God forbid your master copy of that match got chewed up by your shitty VHS player. Dude, it was a disaster. I thought DVDs were incredible.
Yeah.
When we got DVDs, I was blown away.
Riz, did we talk about what you learned yet?
No.
We're like over 2 hours.
I hope that no promoters got scared by my like obvious age from saying all that shit. Because I did just ferment my mustache just for this show.
Riz just learned how old Glenn is.
Yep. I've seen Glenn in like my first show was with my first indie show. Glenn Spectre was wrestling it. So yeah,
and who knows how long ago that was? We're not going to mention it.
2006.
Oh, okay, so that's not so bad.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
I hate to say it, but I started way before then too. That's like not even close to when I started. Anyway, it's okay. I'm still gonna make it, baby.
Oh,
it's gonna happen right after the show.
You haven't you
Trips will be on the phone.
You
right
haven't
after
failed until you quit.
Agreed,
That's another
Exactly.
Cardona's quote.
dude.
Matt Cardona quote.
Dude, like wrestlers are still marks, man. I'm a huge Cardona mark. I love Cardona, man.
Love it. Riz, did we say what you
No,
learned? No.
you
Okay,
didn't.
let's go. We gotta get out
I
of
keep
here.
stepping over
We gotta-
Riz.
we
I'm
gotta get out of
sorry.
here.
it's okay. I don't talk it like Scotty from everybody doesn't know what I sound like anyway, so it's fine.
That's right.
We do know you're short now, but you disclosed that information.
I did.
I didn't
was
know
my-
that.
Out of Sorg and Dutters and all that stuff, I'm the shortest one.
Well,
pretty much.
number one, Dutters is tall though.
Dutters is very tall.
Like that was
That was Sorg.
so.
So I learned that I will always get a kick out of somebody using Goldberg's full last name in anything, in any promo.
Like what, William?
Bill Goldberg.
Oh, okay.
Like hearing Gunther keep on calling him Bill Goldberg every time he's talking about Bill Goldberg, about his match against Bill Goldberg, made me think of the Bret Hart promo where he just calls Goldberg Bill Goldberg the entire time in WCW. Just that moment where it's like, I'm just waiting for him to go say it to my face, Bill Goldberg, and it just,
You know who doesn't think Bill Goldberg is a serious professional and jam up guy? Bret Hart.
Bret Hart.
That's true. That's true. Jeez.
I can't wait until Bret Hart cost Bill Goldberg this match.
Oh my God, that
Saturday
would,
night.
dude. Okay, hold up. If that happens, I will pop to the moon.
Yeah, that's what I learned.
If he comes in and just takes this, if Bret Hart comes in, just intercepts, takes the spear, and then stands up, and he's got like a metal thing under his shirt, a la WCW, I will lose my fucking mind.
Okay, last one. True Prince says that I learned that from Enjoy that more wrestlers should have matches based on defending their favorite foods. Felix Cause versus MV Young did this. There's a video. So I guess they were sponsors on this match, and literally, I think MV was sponsored by a pizza place,
I would.
Not
and
Slice on Broadway,
Felix
by the way.
was a pierogi place.
I was about to say, I hope it was some
Yeah.
kind of Polish thing.
It was, and literally when they were doing the what do you call it when you do the punch, yay boo,
Oh,
like
gosh.
that back to forth.
Yes.
It was pizza pierogies, pizza pierogies.
That's awesome.
That's one of the greatest things I've seen in professional wrestling.
dude, we love putting over the people we like Felix Cause is
my god, yes.
So if I could put myself over, I gave Felix Cause his first match in professional wrestling.
Mhm.
I was his debut match. But if I can also put him over, incredibly creative, very talented kid.
Oh my god, yes.
Yep.
All right, I think I got everybody. I apologize if I miss you. It's a long night. There's a long show. Where's that at? There we go. You kept going to the Twitch. I don't know what's. It's late. It's too late for one thing, and I'm out of Dunkin'.
Me for quite some time. So
Guys, thank you so much. I'm sure we'll talk for another hour on Patreon. Who knows? So follow it over there. We have a live feed if you're on patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show for whatever happens after I go off air on this. Thank you to Twitch people for popping in. Thank you, Effie, for raiding us. And I don't know why my face tracking just turned on this camera. Out of nowhere, I feel like I'm about to get sniped. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Glenn Spectre. Follow him on the Instagram.
Yo, hey, thank you, Wrestling Mayhem Show. I love this show. I wouldn't be on it so much if I didn't love it. I'm like unofficial co-host of Wrestling Mayhem
There
Show.
it is.
But also, thank you, Wrestling Mayhem Show audience.
There you go. 6 away from becoming a real boy on Instagram, by the way. So make it happen.
God damn, it might happen tonight.
I'm out of Instagram accounts that haven't followed you. So, so I got you a couple more. Guys, thank you so much. Mayhem out.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.